I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226, The three new imperial families each have their own concerns. After Jiang's father and mother left, the two sisters stood at the door and watched them until they turned the corner. Jiang Jin then asked the people around her in a cold voice, "Let me make it clear first, I'm not interested in what you talked about with Mom, but the premise is that you don't talk about my affairs." Jiang Jing she glanced at her sister with peach blossom eyes, feeling that Qianqian had a bit of murderous aura today. What a coincidence, we actually talked a little. What topic? Mom asked you if you have someone you like, and asked me if I know who that person is. She didn't hide anything. Jiang Jin frowned when she heard this, and her face seemed a little embarrassed. Then what did you say? Of course I said I don't know. After all, I don't know if you have someone you like. She looked at her sister meaningfully, as if she was trying to find out what she thought of Lin Suhengren. But what made Jiang Jing she helpless was that she saw a hint of shyness in her sister's eyes, which was the change on Jiang Jin's face when she remembered someone. She and Qianqian actually fell in love with the same boy, which was something she had never thought of before. Especially if she and Lin Suhengren were to get together, it would be like a sister-in-law falling in love with her brother-in-law. Jiang Jin turned around and went home. Fang Meng, who was in the distance, followed Jiang Jin. In the future, when Mom asks you about me, just say you don't know like you did today. Jiang Jing she smiled, and the two sisters went back to the living room one after the other. Grandpa had already returned by this time and was sipping tea on the sofa and asked, "Jingshi, how is your relationship with Lin Suhengren from the Lin family going?" "It should be going well, right?" Jiang Jin and Fang Meng in front stopped. The former had a cold face and the latter's expression changed slightly. Sister Jiang Jing she smiled and turned around to reply, "It's going pretty well, Grandpa." "It's fine," Grandpa nodded with relief. "Just now, before you came, your parents had already told me and Qianqian that you and Lin Suhengren had jointly opened a company in the past 2 years. It's called Hengshi Group. It's developing quite well now. Your parents praised Lin Suhengren for a long time. Zhangxi company has not yet developed to the level of a group." He laughed twice, drinking tea and describing vividly, "It's a matter of time. I said that the kid from the Lin family is very talented. Grandpa didn't cheat you, did he? After all, he is the grandson of my old comrade in arms. We have a life and death friendship. You two should get along well. If you think it's appropriate, I think we can find a time to decide on this matter. First, get engaged, and then get married when he reaches the legal age." Jiang Jing she blushed, but she reacted after hearing this. It turned out that before she came, her parents had actually told her about her and Lin Suhengren starting a company. No wonder Qianqian's face was so cold tonight, and she had a hint of murderous intent when she was talking to me just now. So this is what happened. She was about to say something. As a result, Jiang Jin in front of him suddenly interrupted with a cold voice, "What my sister said is very good. It should be just being friends. Starting a company together only means that my sister and Lin Suhengren are suitable to be partners, not that they are suitable in other identities. Grandpa, you should not worry about this matter. Besides, my sister is so young. It's too early to get married. Marriage is a big thing and can't be rushed." Grandpa didn't understand the mystery, but just retorted, "Your sister is not young anymore. She is in her 20s this year. When Lin Suhengren reaches the age, won't your sister be 25 or above?" Jiang Jin did not hesitate. "That's too early. 25 is too early to get married. Isn't it advocated to marry and have children later now?" Grandpa smacked his lips. "What do you mean by late marriage and late childbearing? Fewer and better births, that was when you were young. The things that were advocated more than 10 years ago have changed the policy now. Besides, if 25 is still early, then you are a few years younger than your sister. Are you planning to get married 10 years later? Grandpa knows that you don't like making friends or anything like that, but..." Jiang Jin looked at Grandpa and said quickly, "I'm different from my sister. I can get married early." Grandpa was stunned. He didn't expect Qianqian, who always hated sex, to say this. Jiang Jing she couldn't help but look at her sister curiously. Jiang Jin repeated, "I said I could get married early." She blushed and was afraid that Grandpa would hear it. "Anyway, I said it clearly. I think my sister and Lin Sehengren are not suitable to be together, or they are only suitable to be friends, not lovers. Grandpa didn't quite understand. What's not suitable? Nothing is suitable. They just can't be together. After saying that, Zheng Jin walked upstairs and didn't want to say anything more, because tonight she heard her parents say that her sister and Lin Sehengren had secretly opened a company and worked together for so long. At that time, she was almost angry and couldn't breathe. Even the word angry was not enough to describe Zheng Jin's emotions at that time. She just felt uncomfortable. She felt empty, as if some treasure had been taken away by her sister. From childhood to adulthood, the two sisters have had their ups and downs, but in Zheng Jin's heart, she still cares about Zhang Jingxi very much. She can share many things with her sister, even if it's okay who has more or less shares in the company, as the family is the same. But only Lin Sehengren. Zheng Jin will never give him to anyone. Not even a hair will be given to others. After saying that, she went to the second floor and said to Fang Meng, "Xiao Meng, you should go and rest too." Then she closed the door. Zheng Jingxi on the first floor watched her sister's reaction the whole time. Inexplicably, she felt that compared to some time ago, it seemed that her sister cared more about Lin Sehengren. Did something happen between them again? Grandpa looked up at his granddaughter's angry face on the second floor from the sofa, staring at her closed door and not understanding. "What's wrong?" he asked Zhang Jingxi. "I don't understand why Qianqian doesn't want you to be with Lin Sehengren. I know they are studying in the same school. Did Lin Sehengren offend her? Does she hate Lin Sehengren?" Zhang Jingxi smiled, thinking that if Qianqian hated Lin Sehengren, then this matter would be easier to handle. But she also fell in love with him. "But Qianqian, although I always stand by you in big things, but only him. Even if you are not happy or angry, as long as he needs me, I will definitely follow him. No one can stop me. I will not give him to anyone." Zhang Jingxi said to Grandpa, "Grandpa, don't worry about this. I will find a way to deal with it. You should rest early. I will go back to my room." Grandpa sighed. "Well, I can't get involved too much in the affairs of you young people. Anyway, I really think that Lin Sehengren is good, a rare talent." She smiled. "He is indeed rare." After that, Zhang Jingxi also went back to her room. No one cared. Feng Meng on the second floor was looking at the back of the eldest lady, returning to her room. Her expression was also subtle. Feng Meng was also surprised to hear Jiang's father and mother say that Zhang Jingxi and Lin Sehengren had been running a company together for more than 2 years. She knew that the eldest lady had a good impression of Lin Sehengren. There were signs of this a long time ago, but she didn't expect that the eldest lady would take action so early. And Qianqian, as far as she knew, she would never give in. The most important thing was herself. Tonight, Feng Meng returned to the room and stared at the ceiling in a daze. Zhang Jin lay in bed all night without sleeping, and Zhang Jingxi's gentle eyes also looked out the window without a moment of sleep, each with their own thoughts. The only loud snoring in the whole villa was Grandpa, who slept soundly. Chapter 227 An Unexpected Encounter. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly. The three daughters of the Zhang family did not sleep, and Lin Sehengren on the other side also did not sleep for a moment because he had been searching for information on the internet all night. He found that this so-called Jixin disease was caused by a lack of cases, resulting in a lack of effective information on many things. At least the well-known medical books and reports on the internet could not tell anything. Fortunately, the second-level mastery was also useful in searching books. Lin Sehengren could also find information in many unknown books by following the clues and then send them to Pan Lin. But even if the company had money, Pan Lin could not find all books. Some very strange books were on the verge of extinction or had already been lost. At around 9 o'clock in the morning, Pan Lin brought a group of people in suits to Lin Sehengren's house. Each of those people carried a large box in his left and right hands. There were about 7 or 8 people. At that time, Lin Xiali and Lin Yingjin were watching TV at home. When they heard someone knocking on the door, Lin Xiali went to open the door. "Who is it?" Pan Lin bowed at the door and said respectfully, "Hello, is this Mr. Lin's home? I'm here to deliver something to him." Lin Xiali saw many men in black clothes wearing suits and carrying suitcases at the door through the peephole. She was confused and scared. She wondered what they were doing. Sales or insurance sales? The Matrix? She waved to Lin Yingjin to come over. Husband, come and see what's going on." She whispered that there were a lot of people at the door, and Lin Yingjin got up and walked over nervously. After confirming through the peephole that it was indeed unusual, both parties became nervous. Lin Yingjin swallowed his saliva and asked with a little fear, Mr. Lin? What, Mr. Lin? You've found the wrong door? What are you doing? Lin's Hengren, who was in the bedroom, heard the knock on the door at this time, and hurriedly got out of bed and went to the living room. Mom and Dad, don't worry about it, I'll ask them to come. Lin's Hengren walked over and opened the door for them. Pan Lin bowed. Lin's Hengren pointed to his room and said, put all the books in the bedroom. Pan Lin directed those people to put all the things in Lin's Hengren's bedroom in an orderly manner and take away the empty boxes. They went back and forth more than 10 times. Pan Lin also handed a thick list to Lin's Hengren. This is the list you gave me last night. I have only found 80% of it. I am sending people to find some books. I will send them to you as soon as they are found. Lin's Hengren nodded, without saying anything polite, just said to hurry up. Those people came and went in a hurry, and soon disappeared at the entrance of the corridor. Only Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli were left, who were completely unaware. Lin Yingjin slowly walked to the door of Lin's Hengren's room and found that his son's room was full of books at this moment. Especially the layers of books beside the bed were like mountains, with only one aisle left. He didn't know the exact number, but he estimated that there were at least several thousand books. Son, what's going on? Are you going to open a bookstore? Lin's Hengren simply flipped through the list and replied, aren't I going to college? I'm studying hard and researching something. Lin Xiaoli walked over and was shocked to see the densely packed books. Don't be so serious, son. I didn't see you make such a big fuss about the college entrance examination before, and don't you read books all the time? Our warehouse is basically full of books you have read. Lin's Hengren returned to the bedroom. Mom, just sell the books I have read, and I won't read those I have read again. Lin Xiaoli sighed that her son was really an extraordinary person. I didn't dare to throw it away because I was afraid that you might not be able to find it if you wanted to. Lin's Hengren sat on the bed and looked at the densely packed books beside the bed. He picked up a book at random. I will definitely not look for something I have read. Have you ever seen me go to the warehouse to look through books since I was a child? Lin Xiaoli agreed. That's true, Lin Yingjin. Then you read so many books. Don't tire yourself out. This is too much. I wasn't as exaggerated as you when I was in school. He also picked up a book. Many of them are medical books. Are you studying medical books now? By the way, how much do these books cost? Not cheap, right? I occasionally do some part-time jobs, and buying books doesn't cost much, he said. Okay, Mom and Dad, you can continue watching TV, don't worry about me, and don't call me to eat today. I want to read books. If I'm hungry, I will go to the kitchen to find food by myself. Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin both nodded. Lin's Hengren reminded again, by the way, please help me close the door. They closed the door for Lin's Hengren. The couple stood at the door and looked at each other. For Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin, their son had been abnormal for a long time. It is said that there is only a thought difference between a genius and a madman. Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli both agreed with this. Just this enthusiasm for reading books is really not something that ordinary people can do. Lin Yingjin was helpless and whispered, to be honest, it is only now that the world is peaceful. Otherwise, in any previous dynasty, we dare not imagine what great things our son would have accomplished. Lin Xiaoli agreed. In the next 2 days, Lin's Hengren has been reading and thinking in the room. From time to time, he would also check the speed of the experience bar. There are 2 ways to treat Zhang Jingxi now. Either break through the level and upgrade the mastery of all things to see the effect, or study some new treatment methods while reading books. In fact, there is another way, but that one is said to prolong life, but it is not certain whether it can cure diseases, and it is not a system in itself. However, the reason why Lin Hengren told Zhang Jingxi yesterday that he could think of a solution in a month at the latest. That is because of the current level of experience. Lin Hengren calculated that if he used all his rest time to read books, he could break through in less than a month and unlock the 3rd level. Of course, if he encountered an adventure, it would be faster, and it might even be possible to break through in 1 day, but adventure events themselves are very rare, and Lin Hengren had tried it a long time ago. Basically, you can only wait for adventure events to come to you. You can't find them if you deliberately look for so-called adventures. Things that rely entirely on luck cannot be used as a standard. So if you want to find a cure as quickly as possible, it is best to use the 2nd level learning ability of mastering everything and read books to think out a way to crack it. After all, any disease is easy to treat in the early and middle stages, and the longer it is delayed, the more difficult it is to treat. Maybe it was good luck. After reading a lot of books in 2 days, Lin Zhengren actually found a theory for treating similar diseases in a book. It's just that Lin Zhengren imagined it in his mind and felt that something was missing, but the overall approach was not wrong. This morning, Lin Zhengren was still reading in bed, thinking about a solution in his mind. Suddenly, there was a knock at the bedroom door. Lin Zhengren didn't pay attention at first, but then he heard the voice again and looked up. "Mom? Didn't you say not to disturb me if there's nothing wrong?" It turned out that the voice at the door was not Lin Xiaoli, not Auntie, it's Fang Meng. "Can I come in?" Lin Zhengren was surprised. Fang Meng? He was so engrossed in reading that he didn't even know when she came to his house. "Come in, the door is not locked." Fang Meng slowly opened the door. She always dressed fashionably, and today was no exception. She wore a red and white checkered short-sleeved top with a black and brown short skirt. She wore white shoes under her snow-white long legs, and her hairstyle was still a side ponytail. She was surprised to see a room full of books when she pushed the door open, but because Yang Jin's bedroom was sometimes like this, it was not completely incomprehensible. Geniuses are different from ordinary people. Fang Meng was surprised and said, "So many books? Auntie is not exaggerating. You have covered so many books that there is no way out of the bedroom." Lin Zhengren leaned against the head of the bed. "Why did you come here?" Fang Meng recalled kissing him after the graduation ceremony. Her cheeks slightly reddened. "I came to see you. Auntie said that you have been obsessed with reading medical books recently. She said that you have never read books on such a large scale before. I was a little worried, so you came to see." Lin Zhengren smiled. "What's there to worry about? It's not like I don't go out. From time to time I go out to eat and go to the bathroom." Fang Meng thought that it was better than Kaianqian. If Kaianqian was in seclusion, she really wouldn't go out. Fang Meng tiptoed to the bedside and saw that many of the books looked familiar. "Why are you interested in medical books recently?" And these books seem to be in one big category, cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases. Lin Zhengren was surprised. "You know so much? After all, I have studied medicine for many years, otherwise I would not come here. I just thought that if you study medical books, I might be able to help you. Did you encounter something?" Lin Zhengren remembered that Fang Meng had always known medicine, but he had never paid much attention to it. "Nothing, but you said you have been studying medicine for how many years?" He took out the list that Pan Lin had been looking for a long time and handed it to her. "Do you recognize the books on it?" Fang Meng took it and confirmed that they were all about cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases. "It seems that there are few familiar books, but there are many books with the same name. I should have them, but they are all old books. You said you have them." Lin Zhengren thought that Pan Lin said that many of the books on it were lost. Fang Meng nodded. "It's a coincidence that I personally have a large library of books, which were left to me by several old doctors in my village. There are some obscure old books in it. If you are willing, I can take you to have a look, but we have to drive there. It's quite far. In my hometown village, adventure lost ancient medical books and secret books of elixir in the Jianghu." Lin Zhengren slightly widened his eyes, raised the corners of his mouth, and stared at Fang Meng, making her blush. "What's wrong? What's the look in your eyes?" Chapter 228 Library. "Nothing, I just think you look good today." His casual response made Fang Meng's heartbeat faster. "Lin Zhengren, then let's go?" "Let's go now, okay." The two did not delay for a moment. Fang Meng drove her car and took Lin Zhengren to his rural hometown. On the way, Fang Meng was steering the wheel, and her eyes occasionally glanced at Lin Zhengren, who was looking out the window thinking about something, until they encountered a traffic light. Fang Meng stepped on the brake and put the car in neutral, stretched out a hand to hold Lin Zhengren's wrist, and checked his pulse. Lin Zhengren noticed that the other party's jade hand was on his wrist and turned to look at her. Fang Meng didn't feel that there was anything wrong with Lin Zhengren's body through his pulse. At least she didn't feel anything based on her experience, but Lin Zhengren's pulse has always been weird. In modern society, no matter how to regulate the body, most people are basically in a sub-healthy state because of their living environment. But Lin Zhengren's meridians and pulses are not only very healthy, but also much stronger than ordinary people. She didn't know how he did it. Asked with concern, "You should not be sick, right? If you feel unwell, I can take you to a private hospital. Miss and Kaianqian go there when they are sick. The doctors there are the best." Lin Zhengren looked at her and smiled. "What's wrong with me? You can tell from my pulse that I'm very healthy. I just suddenly became curious about something. Since I'm curious, I naturally have to study it clearly. Feng Meng took her hand back and felt relieved. After the green light came on, she stared at the road ahead again and drove seriously. I don't understand you, but I'm glad you're not sick. You have a day off today. Since you and Jiang Jin reconciled, it feels like you two have returned to your old inseparable state. I see you less often at my house. Many of Lin Suhengren's words were said unintentionally, but Feng Meng felt a little like, did he miss herself a little? Of course, Feng Meng also knew, there are three major illusions in life. However, the words of the person they like always make girls think wildly. I took a special leave last night. Yesterday, my mother talked to Aunt Lin on the phone. I heard that you have been reading medical books at home these 2 days, so I took a leave to see you. Feng Meng paused and continued, I am relieved to see that you are okay today. After a long journey, Lin Suhengren and Feng Meng finally arrived at a village on the edge of Zidong City. Because Zidong City is located in a plain area, even this kind of rural road on the edge is easier to walk than imagined. Leaving the city through a long narrow road with rows of trees on both sides, you can see the village where Feng Meng's hometown is. It is called Fengzhuang Village. Most of the people in the village have the surname Feng. On the way, Feng Meng told the origin of the library. My grandfather used to be an accountant in the village and had a good relationship with many grandfathers. Although my grandfather was not very good at medicine, he was very interested in the medical profession. After knowing my passion, he would take me to visit those grandfathers who studied medicine every New Year and other festivals to see if I could learn something. Although it may seem a bit boastful in front of you, those old doctors thought I had good talent after seeing me and was a good candidate for studying medicine. I could understand many things at a glance, so they all taught me everything they knew. Although I could not learn it all, I have learned a lot from them over the years. Of course, the doctors in the village are basically old Chinese medicine practitioners, which also led to my level of Chinese medicine being better than Western medicine. It is not a little bit better. Feng Meng parked the car outside a yard that looked like a clan temple. Later, after several grandfathers passed away one after another, the few grandfathers who were still alive called me a few years ago and left me the key to an old library. It's here. Are there many doctors in your village? Lin Suhengren was curious, because doctors are a profession that rarely gather in groups in rural areas. There are usually only a few in a village, otherwise it would be a big problem for them to steal each other's business. Feng Meng said, according to my grandfather, our village was known as the medical saint village hundreds of years ago. Everyone in the village studied medicine. However, due to the development of the times and the war, only 2 or 3 generations have completely fallen into decline. Now there are basically no people in the village who know Chinese medicine. Young people don't study medicine at all. Only the dozen or so old people are still insisting on it, otherwise they can't pass it on to me. Lin Suhengren and Feng Meng got off the car and looked at the old but solemn gate of the ancestral hall in front of them. Ancestral hall? Can outsiders enter this place casually? Feng Meng, we won't enter the ancestral hall. As for the library, it's okay. I asked those grandfathers before. They said that these things used to be treasures and were not passed on to outsiders. But after their generation disappeared, these books were given to others and others were too lazy to read them. As long as they can be passed on, they will be very happy. Feng Meng pointed to a small road in the distance. Go from here. She led Lin Suhengren into a narrow road that could only accommodate 2 people walking side by side. After passing through, they entered an old house with a locked door. This house was on the left side of the ancestral hall. Feng Meng took the key from her pocket and opened the door. After the wooden door was pushed open, a room full of bookshelves and books could be seen. Lin Suhengren was surprised. He felt that this place looked unusual. After Feng Meng went in, she continued, these books are very ordinary. The old books you were looking for should be here. She walked to a bookshelf on the right, took out another key from her arms, and fumbled for something in a corner. Until she inserted the key into the invisible gap, she heard a click. Feng Meng smiled and wanted to push the bookshelf aside. Lin Suhengren went over to help. After the obstructing bookshelf was pushed aside, Lin Suhengren saw a hidden small door. Feng Meng pushed it open, and saw that in the secret door of this old house, there was an old library with an area of 1/3 of the area. All the books inside looked extremely old. Lin Suhengren walked in and checked carefully. Feng Meng said, I have read these books briefly before. It is inevitable that they will be lost. Many of the things recorded in them are out of touch with the times, and many of them are not original. Many treatment methods are also written in a mysterious way, and even have no reference value for many modern diseases. However, there are many strange cases. Linz Hengren simply flipped through them and felt that many things were indeed difficult to understand. Well, it's a bit complicated, and it's obvious that many of them were copied by later generations, but the magical thing is, the second level of mastery of all things allows Linz Hengren to basically understand them. Many ancient books are indeed useless now, but if one day these books can be combined with modern theories, then these books will be of great use. Linz Hengren found the books on cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases that he needed and carefully flipped through them. Feng Meng watched Linz Hengren watching seriously and looked aside. There's a stool over there, just watch it over there, I'll accompany you. No, I'll watch it this way. Thank you Feng Meng, you helped me a lot this time. Feng Meng was happy to hear this. Nothing. Chapter 229 Heartbeat. Linz Hengren was reading from morning till night, and Feng Meng was with him. At noon, she was afraid that he would be hungry, so she drove to the town to buy some food. As a result, Linz Hengren was able to read and eat at the same time. At that time, Feng Meng was sitting on a chair and watching Linz Hengren standing in front of the bookshelf, reading and eating. She thought that this was more serious than when Tianqian was in seclusion. In the evening, when Linz Hengren came to his senses, he glanced at the time. It was already past 6 in the evening. The lights in the room had been turned on at some point. He was awakened by a ringing cell phone. It was a call from his mother, Lin Xiaoli. He picked up the phone. Hello? Mom. Lin Xiaoli on the other end was puzzled. Ranran, where have you been? Why haven't you come home so late? Linz Hengren responded, and he turned around to look at Feng Meng, who was sitting by the wall and also reading some books. Feng Meng looked up at Linz Hengren and said silently, you don't have to go back tonight if you want. Linz Hengren smiled and said to his mother, Mom, I won't go back tonight. I'm going to my classmate's house to play. Lin Xiaoli was used to it. Her son would stay out overnight from time to time. Okay, then you be careful. Will you be back tomorrow? Linz Hengren, let me see. Even if I don't go back tomorrow, I will call you and my dad. That's good. Then you go ahead and be busy. Tell me and your dad anytime if you have anything. Okay, I know. After hanging up the phone, Linz Hengren looked at the time again and asked Feng Meng, I didn't expect it to be so late. Is it okay for you not to go back tonight? Feng Meng sat there and smiled. It doesn't matter. I'm often away from home and live at Tianqian's house. My parents don't know. Besides, Tianqian knows that I'm on leave today, so she won't call me casually unless there's something urgent. Linz Hengren nodded and suggested, can I stay here tonight? I want to read more books. Don't worry, I won't touch anything else except reading books, so you don't have to stay here with me all the time. Just go and rest when you are tired. Feng Meng was relieved. Just read it, and there is nothing precious in this place except books. You can read anything you want, and I won't be tired accompanying you. Don't worry about me. Linz Hengren didn't say anything more, but continued to read. Feng Meng also accompanied him silently. Interestingly, this night, Linz Hengren actually found similar cases written in medical books. Linz Hengren recalled the modern medical books he had read in the past 2 days, and combined with the experience of these ancient books at hand, he calculated a possible solution in his mind. He also felt that the second level mastery was really too powerful. The second level is the experience of talented people in various professions 40 years. This kind of learning and research ability is completely unmatched by ordinary people. One night passed, and it was more than 9 o'clock the next morning. Linz Hengren put all the books back to their original positions, walked out of the library, and stood in the yard to call Pan Lin. Pan Lin answered the phone quickly. Boss Lin, Linz Hengren asked, have you found the books I asked you to find before? Well, I'm really sorry, Boss Lin, there are several very old books that are nowhere to be found. Although some people have seen them before, but... Linz Hengren smiled, it doesn't matter. If you can't find them, forget it. Don't look for them anymore. I will send you a file later. It contains some of the things I need and basic equipment. They should not be difficult to get. You give this file to the private hospital invested by Sister Zhang and tell them to follow the things in the file carefully today. Arrange a separate laboratory for me. I will go there to use these things tomorrow. Remember, this is very important. Although Pan Lin didn't know what Linz Hengren was doing these 2 days, it sounded a bit like he was studying Boss Jiang's illness. This was incredible. Could Boss Lin also be a doctor? He quickly agreed with a half-understanding. Okay, after you send the file, I will go to the hospital director to make arrangements in person. Thank you for your hard work. Tell me as soon as you are ready. No problem, Boss Lin. The phone was hung up. Lin's Hengren turned on his phone and looked at the densely packed text analysis report on it. This is Lin's Hengren's summary of the past 2 days, plus the conjecture that came up after he wrote down those ancient books last night. If nothing unexpected happens, the research on this disease will soon have a major breakthrough under his own ideas. After all, this disease already has corresponding antidote in the early stage in modern society. With the ideas after his own improvement, it should not be a problem to make a special medicine if everything goes well. While Pan Lin is contacting the hospital to arrange the laboratory, go back to the library to look at other books. Scan them all and remember them in your mind. All of them are valuable experiences left by predecessors, which are rare. Lin's Hengren returned to the library and saw Fang Meng, who had already fallen asleep in the corner. The girl looked a little tired, but there was an indescribable satisfaction in it. He took off his coat and gently put it on her. Continue reading. This time he read slower, flipping through all the books, not as targeted as before. It was a little after 11 in the morning. Meng, who was drowsy, slowly opened her eyes and saw Lin's Hengren still standing in front of the bookshelf flipping through the books. She rubbed the corners of her eyes. I wanted to see what time it was, but found that I was covered with a white coat. It was the one Lin's Hengren usually wore, and it had his unique scent on it. Fang Meng's cheeks flushed, and she grabbed the coat in a daze. Did he put this on me? Lin's Hengren heard the noise in the distance and asked, Are you awake? Fang Meng took out her phone and glanced at the time. It was a little after 11 in the morning. She slowly stood up. Well, you are still reading? Did you take a break all night? Lin's Hengren replied casually. I took a break for a while. Fang Meng walked over and asked, Have you got any clues about your research? Lin's Hengren smiled. I already have some. I'm looking at other content now. There are many books in here that interest me, so I want to read them all. Really? That's great. Fang Meng was happy for him when she heard that his research had yielded results. I was worried that these books would not be helpful to you at first. By the way, how many books in this library have you read? There are 3 large shelves of books in the room. Lin's Hengren pointed to the bookshelf on the far right. There's only this one left. I read the others last night. And I should be able to finish the rest before tonight. Fang Meng bent down in surprise. You read so fast? Can you understand all these books? Because many of the words on them are not even modern words, I was confused when I read them. Lin's Hengren thought that with his current energy level, he could already remember everything he saw, so as long as he glanced at anything he was interested in, he would remember it all in his mind. You can probably understand it. These are all difficult and complicated diseases passed down by the older generation. Many of the contents seem useless, but they are actually the experience of the ancients. I don't know how many people died before they summarized them. It's very shocking. Fang Meng squatted beside him and put his coat on him again. This industry is indeed the experience gained from the pile of dead bodies. She paused. Thank you for the coat, Lin's Hengren replied bluntly. By the way, I remember that Fang Meng, you studied medicine because of Zhang Jin, right? Zhang Jin helped you when you were a child because of hypoglycemia, and then you became interested in studying medicine. Fang Meng nodded. Yes, I told you that it was because of He Qing that I wanted to study medicine, and I have been studying until now. Are you very talented in studying medicine? Lin's Hengren was curious. Not bad. Lin's Hengren asked a few questions about medical skills casually. Fang Meng answered fluently. Lin's Hengren was surprised and asked more difficult questions. This time Fang Meng answered more than half of them, and he didn't understand a small part. Lin's Hengren increased the difficulty again, and this time it was Fang Meng's turn to be shocked. I wondered how he could be so amazing. She knows all the profound medical knowledge. They said in unison, You are amazing. Fang Meng was shy and confused, feeling inferior. What am I amazing about? I can't answer the questions you ask later. You are really amazing. You can get so deep into various fields. Lin's Hengren thought to himself that he was different from ordinary people after all, but Fang Meng's talent in studying medicine was indeed far beyond that of ordinary people. No wonder the old doctors in the village passed these books to her. Lin's Hengren, you are already very good. In my opinion, you are good enough to be an expert in some hospitals. And you are so young, you have a bright future. Have you ever thought about becoming a doctor in the future? Feng Meng looked at the medical book in his hand and told the truth. Yes, in fact, I used to think that if Qianqian never got married in this life, I would always follow her as her assistant, but now everything is different from what I imagined at the beginning. So a lot of messy thoughts have popped up these days. Lin's Hengren, she stared at Lin's Hengren. I have always had a question to ask you. Every time you see me for the first time, do you think of me? At the beginning, I investigated Lin's Hengren's life for Qianqian, and I was in close contact with Lin's Hengren for Qianqian. It can be said that there is a reason why he and I have never been alone together, but slowly, I found that I don't seem to contact you just because of Qianqian. I go to your house to find you every time because I want to see you. Including today. So I hope that in your eyes, you don't think of Qianqian when you see me, but simply think of me. Lin's Hengren looked at Feng Meng's eyes, which seemed to have an indescribable light, and answered without hesitation, of course, I thought of you when I saw you. Who else could I think of? Why do you ask this suddenly? Feng Meng blushed and laughed. It's okay, just asking casually. Girls sometimes ask questions that even we find inexplicable. Lin's Hengren thought for a while and suddenly said, when I first met you, I would occasionally think of Jiang Jin, and wonder what you two wanted to do to me. But later, when I saw you, I couldn't make the same connection, because most of the time you didn't come to me because of Jiang Jin, right? Feng Meng's pupils dilated. The blush on her face became even more intense. Does he know what I'm thinking? If not, then this passage is a bit too touching for me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230 begins research. In the evening, as Lin's Hengren finished reading the last book in the library, Feng Meng locked the secret door and the door of the library one after another. Back in the car, the red sunset made Feng Meng's ponytail look a little dim, and the sunlight shone through her ponytail. Feng Meng's beautiful face looked dreamy under the red light, just like her name. Lin's Hengren, you have been with me for the past 2 days and you have worked hard. When I helped you and Jiang Jin before, didn't you say you owed me something? You don't have to keep it in mind in the future. Feng Meng was stunned. Why don't you keep it in mind? I volunteered to help you this time, not to repay you for last time. Lin's Hengren interrupted with a smile. I know, but you helped me so much this time and showed me so many old books. If I ask you for anything because of that incident in the future, then I am too narrow-minded as a boy, so let's write off the past. Feng Meng reacted helplessly. I suddenly feel that classmate Lin's Hengren didn't intend to make any requests of me from the beginning. After all, to classmate Lin's Hengren at the time, you were proficient in everything, and I couldn't help you at all, and she laughed, and at that time I said I would meet one of your requests and hope that you would help me reconcile. I said that because I thought classmate Lin's Hengren would not help me. Now it seems that I was indeed a little narrow-minded at the time. After all, classmate Lin's Hengren is really a good person. Lin's Hengren felt that it was strange for girls to be nice to boys in this era. I can't say I'm a nice person. After all, I told you before that I won't help everyone. I will only help those I want to help. Isn't it the same for you? Feng Meng smiled and didn't deny it. Well, if someone else is in trouble, I may not help, but if classmate Lin's Hengren needs me, I will definitely help, and there is no limit. As long as you need me, I will always help you. She looked at Lin's Hengren with a straightforward but gentle look. After all, classmate Lin's Hengren is a very special existence to me. She paused and added, in ancient times, as long as parents arranged a marriage for their children, I would be classmate Lin's Hengren's fiancé, and it can't change. It means that we are not in ancient times now. Sitting in the car, Lin's Hengren received a call from Pan Lin. Hello, Sister Pan, Pan Lin said. Boss Lin, I have asked the hospital to arrange all the things on your list for you today. I have personally selected all the materials and equipment. Is it convenient for you now? If it is convenient, I will go to your house now and give you the key to the room. Lin's Hengren did not expect Pan Lin to work so quickly. He originally thought that he might not be able to find all those things in one day. Because although the things are not so rare, it is still an experiment after all, and the amount required is still quite a lot. But I didn't expect that it would be done in half a day. Lin's Hengren thought for a moment. No, are you still in the hospital now? If you are, don't move, wait there for a while, I will go there now. Pan Lin responded, I am still in the hospital now, so I will wait for you here. Feng Mang, who was driving, vaguely heard the content of his call. When he hung up, he asked, are you going to the hospital? Yes. Lin Zhengren put away his mobile phone. You don't have to send me specially. Just send me to the city, and I will take a taxi there. Okay, although I don't know what you are doing specifically, but you really don't need my help, really, no need. You've been with me for the past 2 days and you've been exhausted. If I really need you someday, I'll tell you, well, then I'll take you to the hospital. Lin Zhengren glanced at her and didn't repeat himself. He just said thank you. The car drove to the intersection near the hospital. Because there was a traffic jam this afternoon, Lin Zhengren got off the car near the hospital, said goodbye to Feng Meng, and walked into the hospital. Pan Lin was already outside the hospital to greet him. Seeing the person coming, she hurried over. Mr. Lin, you're here. Everything is prepared for you. Well, you found it pretty quickly. I thought you would have to wait until at least tonight to find all the materials, since you arranged it yourself. Of course I have to find it as quickly as possible. Take me to the room, okay? Pan Lin took Lin Zhengren to a special laboratory in a private hospital. The area of this office is not small. And the indoor environment is clean and tidy. Obviously it is rarely used on weekdays. Although the hospital does not know what Pan Lin is going to use this laboratory for. But in the eyes of outsiders, Pan Lin represents Zhang Jingxi, so naturally she will do it according to her words. Things and environment will be made in the best way. After Lin Zhengren entered the laboratory, he pointed at the instruments, liquid medicines, and medicinal materials he wanted and was very satisfied. Okay, Sister Pan, you go to rest, I can do the rest myself, okay? Before she left, she bravely asked, by the way, Mr. Lin, let me ask you one more thing, are you studying Mr. Jiang's illness? Do you know how to treat it? Lin Zhengren looked at the materials. Will we know in 2 days? There was joy in Pan Lin's eyes. She knew that Lin Zhengren was not an ordinary person. From the time they met until now, Lin Zhengren has almost been creating miracles. She nodded solemnly, then I won't bother you. You can arrange me at any time if you have anything. Then he left the room. Lin Zhengren, who was in the room, saw a white coat next to him, took off his coat, put on a white coat and put on gloves. Looking at the well-prepared materials on the table, he began to formally test the theory in his mind over the past 2 days. After walking out of the hospital building, Pan Lin sat in the car, and her cell phone rang again. It was Zhang Jingxi's driver who called. Pan Lin answered it immediately. Hello? What's the matter? The driver's voice sounded very anxious. Hello, Sister Pan. Something happened. Mr. Zhang fell down at home just now. I'm planning to take Mr. Zhang and the second lady to the hospital now. What? Pan Lin was surprised. Mr. Zhang fainted at home. Well, I don't know what happened. He just fainted while taking a walk. Pan Lin knew that it must be related to the illness. Don't worry, you send Mr. Zhang to the hospital. I'm in the hospital now, okay? I got it. At this moment in the villa, Zhang Jin, who had always been calm and composed while watching TV in the living room, was now holding Zhang Jingxi who had fainted in the yard, very anxiously, with red eyes. Sister. What happened to you? She didn't know what happened suddenly. The driver drove the car over. Second miss. Is the eldest lady not awake yet? Zhang Jin carried Zhang Jingxi to the car, and said hurriedly, go to the hospital. The car sped to the private hospital in the city. In the car, Zhang Jingxi still showed no signs of waking up, and Zhang Jin was so scared that a layer of cold sweat appeared on her forehead. She asked the driver, what's going on? Has my sister ever been like this in the company? The driver was so scared that he couldn't speak. No, President Zhang has never been like this. Just a few days ago. What happened a few days ago? The driver remembered what Sister Pan said and realized that he had let the cat out of the bag. Zhang Jin was puzzled. Speak. The driver had never seen Zhang Jin so horrible before, and didn't know how to answer. He just hoped to get to the hospital as soon as possible, hoping that Zhang Jin would be okay. Chapter 231 Breakthrough Level 70. It was already evening when the Rolls-Royce carrying Zhang Jingxi arrived at the hospital. Because she was still in a coma, the hospital began to examine Zhang Jingxi almost non-stop. Even ordinary doctors did not have the chance to come, and it was the director-level doctor who came to see her in person. He was busy using instruments to carefully examine her for a long time. Finally, more than an hour later, in the single ward, Jiang Jin looked at her sister lying on the bed with a serious and worried expression. Jiang Jingshi had changed into a white hospital gown, and her slightly curly long hair spread out on the pillow. Pan Lin and the driver stood aside, each more nervous than the other. At this point, they could no longer hide it. Jiang Jin asked coldly, "What is Jixin disease? When did it happen?" The driver didn't dare to speak, but Pan Lin looked at Jiang Jingshi, who had not yet woken up, and whispered, "Mr. Jiang was just diagnosed in the hospital a few days ago. It was said to be a hereditary cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. According to the doctor, it seems to have been a while." Jiang Jin looked at her sister. "Inherited? Why didn't it be found before?" The hospital said that Mr. Jiang's disease is inherited from the previous generation. Not all descendants of people who carry this gene will develop the disease, and the onset period is after adulthood. It cannot be detected before adulthood. In addition, the eldest lady asked the doctor about your condition. The doctor said that the second lady's body was very healthy before the examination, and no similar signs were found. Jiang Jin clenched her slender fingers. During the examination just now, the doctor said that this disease may cause paralysis of the whole body in the later stage. Pan Lin didn't speak. Jiang Jin looked at the two angrily. "Such a serious matter, my sister didn't let you tell me, and you two really didn't say a word." Qianqian. Suddenly, Jiang Jingshi, who had not woken up on the bed, suddenly opened her eyes. Her eyes were a little blurry. The three people hurried over. "Boss Jiang. You're awake, Boss Jiang." Jiang Jin also came to Jiang Jingshi anxiously. "Sister. How do you feel?" At this moment, Jiang Jingshi's brain was short-circuited, but when she saw the hospital environment and the three of them, she knew what was going on. Looking at her sister's concerned expression, although the two sisters could secretly feel each other's care on weekdays, Jiang Jingshi rarely saw her sister worrying about her so much. Jiang Jingshi smiled. "I feel fine. Where did I faint?" "Jiang Jin, in the yard." "Why didn't your sister tell me such a big thing?" Her voice suddenly became hoarse. Jiang Jingshi's peach blossom eyes slightly widened, with a smile on her face, holding her sister's hand. "What's the big deal? Didn't I tell you I'm fine? Don't make it seem serious." She looked at Pan Lin and the driver, and whispered, "You guys go and do your work. You don't have to stay here to watch me." Pan Lin and the driver looked at each other and nodded, but just before leaving, Jiang Jingshi suddenly spoke again. "Pan Lin." Pan Lin turned around and hurriedly answered, "Mr. Jiang, you say?" Jiang Jingshi whispered, "Don't tell him, it will disturb him so late." "I'm fine, it's just the initial stage." Pan Lin nodded slowly, and Jiang Jin also roughly knew who her sister was talking about. Pan Lian and the driver retreated and closed the door. There were only two sisters left in the ward. Jiang Jingshi looked at her sister with her beautiful eyes again and smiled. "What's with that look in your eyes? I rarely see Qianqian look at me like this. Aren't you usually angry with me?" Jiang Jin rarely talked back and spoke quickly. "It's normal, but this time is different. If you think you are unhappy when I talk back to you, I apologize to your sister." "I'm sorry." Jiang Jingshi's expression was dull and dazed, and she said gently, "Why should I apologize? I still like Qianqian who talks back to me. It's unlike you to be so obedient." Jiang Jin was speechless. Soon after, the hospital director came to the ward. Jiang Jin stood up quickly and said, "Doctor, how is my sister?" The hospital director held a film and said, "Mr. Jiang, the second young lady, the test results are out. The eldest young lady's condition is indeed not as good as expected. The condition has deteriorated faster than expected. It was previously expected to become a late stage in 3 months, but now it seems that it may be even faster." Jiang Jin asked hurriedly, "What? What should we do?" "The relevant foreign drugs have arrived. From today on, let Mr. Jiang take the medicine every day and observe the situation carefully." "Take medicine?" Jiang Jin didn't understand. Such a serious disease is just taking medicine? Can it be cured by taking medicine alone? The doctor was speechless. Jiang Jingshi, who was lying on the bed at the moment, was not too scared in her heart, because she knew that someone would come to save her, as long as he opened the mouth. He would definitely do it, and she believed in him. Jiang Jingshi slowly sat up and interrupted, "Doctor, just say it. It's already now, just make it clear." Jiang Jin hurried to support her sister. The doctor said with a depressed look, "Because this disease is extremely rare in our country and even in the whole world, it is still a terminal illness. All we can do is to delay the occurrence of the disease by taking medicine and adjusting your mentality. The rest, Zhang Jin frowned and said angrily, "What did you say, Zhang Jing?" She comforted, "Qianqian. This is not the doctor's problem, don't use that tone," she said to the doctor. "I know, thank you for your hard work." The doctor also knew the situation at the moment and didn't mind. "It's not hard, then I will arrange for the nurse to get the medicine now, and the experts in your hospital will try their best to find a way to treat your condition. Maybe there will be a miracle." Zhang Jing she nodded, and the doctor walked out. The city at night is not so dark. Various neon lights are flashing in Zidong City at night, and the road outside the hospital is even more lively than during the day. In the quiet ward, Zhang Jing she looked at Zhang Jin, who bowed her head and said nothing. She bit her silver teeth, and a line of clear tears slid down her cheeks. Zhang Jing she was moved when she saw her crying. "Qianqian? Are you crying? I told you I'm fine, don't do this." Zhang Jin suddenly fell on her legs. She grabbed the quilt with both hands and said in a trembling voice, "Why did my sister encounter such a thing? I can't accept it." Zhang Jing she touched her head and comforted her. "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. I'm not afraid, so why should you be afraid? Besides, my sister may not be incurable. I have a chance of being cured." Zhang Jin cried even harder. Zhang Jing she smiled and said, "Really, I'm not comforting you, I really have a chance of being cured?" Zhang Jin turned her head slightly and looked at her. Zhang Jing she felt that Qianqian had returned to her childhood, crying when she was just born. "Listen to me, don't tell my parents yet, they will worry. If you must tell them, wait a week." "But it's such a big thing, and why a week later?" "Because someone will call me in a week, I'm waiting for his call." Zhang Jin looked at her sister, not understanding what she meant, and could only guess who it was. Lin's Hengren. Zhang Jing she thought that her sister was really quick to react, and deliberately said, "Yes, it's your brother-in-law." Zhang Jin buried her head in her sister's legs, her voice hoarse. "Not a brother-in-law." Zhang Jing she couldn't help laughing, and continued to touch her sister's head gently. "Anyway, listen to me, tell me in a week." 2 days later. In the laboratory, a table full of experimental notes and many failed products were scattered around. Lin's Hengren had sweat on his forehead, and he carefully opened a box of round barrels with his hands. "Take out the things inside and fill it with hot water. Theory is just theory, it's not that smooth." As he said this, he put all kinds of things in, including salt packets, butter packets and the like, closed the lid, and waited for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, he picked up the fork that came with a bucket and started eating the hot Kang Shifu beef noodles. Lin's Hengren slurped the noodles and looked at the bottles of potions made with liquid medicine in front of him. He breathed a sigh of relief. Even with a perfect theory, it took 2 days and failed dozens of times before it succeeded. What's most annoying is that the special medicine has just been developed, and the system has broken through because of the adventure between me and Fang Meng. Adventure. These 2 days, you and the princess personal killer Fang Meng went to the medical saint ruins to explore the ancient secrets. During the period, you harvested many treasures and elixir skills, and several ancient skills are linked to your bloodline. After learning them, your cultivation will soar. In this adventure, you have gained a total of 3 spiritual energy levels, 1 energy level, and 1 mastery level of all things. Your spiritual energy level has reached level 70, and your energy is full. The energy value has been transformed into new ability resonance between heaven and earth. Resonance between heaven and earth. Your mental power has begun to resonate with heaven and earth. As the level of resonance between heaven and earth increases, you will gain various abilities to connect heaven and earth. Rainfall, wind, earthquakes, and thunder are all controlled. When you make pills and create things, you can also gather the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, so that the effectiveness of the things you make will change qualitatively. Lin Hengren was slightly shocked when he heard the system's voice. "I thought to myself, did I hear it wrong? Why is the introduction of this new ability so exaggerated? And this time it has been upgraded 3 levels in a row. Thank you for the 5,000 starting coins rewarded by the Big Brother after the cat dies. Thank you for the 100 starting coins rewarded by the Big Brother 2021022221104519 inches. Thank you for the 200 starting coins rewarded by the Big Brother Smile. Bow to thank you." Chapter 232 Alchemy. Lin's Hengren checked his own panel. Your current attributes are Spirit level 70, Nascent Soul, Spirit Control, level 2, you can control objects with spiritual power, or walk on water to cross the river. Physical strength 99, you have unlocked the ability to break through the upper limit of lifespan, increase physical strength, and double cultivation, resonance of heaven and earth. Level 1. The resonance of heaven and earth at level 1 makes everything you create blessed by the power of heaven and earth, and the items will become legendary quality at the lowest, and eliminate their side effects. Affinity of all things. Level 3. Your affinity for the attributes of all things has reached the level of a human hero, and you are no longer limited to the ranks of geniuses. After the panel appeared in front of him, the corresponding improvements in all aspects after breaking through level 70 were also integrated into Lin Sihengren's body and mind. He looked at the last line, which was the introduction of the term affinity of all things. Although the affinity of all things was upgraded from level 2 to level 3, the system did not describe it in detail, but it literally changed from genius to human hero. But Lin Sihengren deeply felt that the world in front of him seemed slightly different from the original world. When I was at the second level of mastery, I could only quickly think of how to use things and could use them skillfully, but I broke through to the third level. Now, whenever Lin Sihengren looks at something, such as the carbon pen placed aside for recording and checking calculations, images of the various parts and components of the object will appear in his mind subconsciously. In addition to being able to skillfully use what he sees, his brain can even think of the various detailed and ingenious underlying logic of the object's operation principle. Is this the affinity of a genius? It is a qualitative change compared to the previous simple use of objects. And looking at the bottles of liquid medicine he made, Lin Sihengren picked up the bottles of special medicine for Qing disease that he had failed dozens of times before successfully making in the past 2 days. He found that in his eyes, the fusion of various medicinal materials and the principle of failure all appeared in his mind, and he didn't need to experiment with the theory bit by bit like before. In other words, if he could break through 2 days ago, he might be able to make this special medicine directly at once. Not to mention saving time. The most powerful thing is that he can see through the essence directly. As for the resonance of heaven and earth after the energy value breaks through, although the first level resonance of heaven and earth cannot control the wind and thunder at will as the system just said, it can already allow the power of heaven and earth to bless the items created by oneself. There are even no side effects. Lin Sihengren is really curious about what will happen if the liquid medicine in his hand is blessed by the power of heaven and earth. He looked at the potion in his hand and tentatively gathered the spiritual power of heaven and earth into it. So in a moment, a wisp of invisible spiritual power of heaven and earth seemed to appear in front of Lin Sihengren's eyes, improving the quality of the potion. Half a minute later, the glass of the potion in Lin Sihengren's hand shattered. The liquid medicine inside gradually condensed into a ball, turned into a solid. A black pill suddenly appeared between Lin Sihengren's pinched fingers. So this is alchemy? This is really more and more like cultivation, and there is no need for a medicine cauldron. Lin Sihengren carefully checked the quality of the pill and found it amazing. Although the special medicine for Qing disease that he created can suppress the disease very well, it requires many courses of treatment to continuously treat patients. According to the special effects of the medicine, it takes at least half a year to recover after taking it weekly. And the special medicine itself cannot change the disease gene, which means that the patient's offspring may still have the chance of recurring the disease, and at most the patient will not relapse after taking the medicine. But this pill created by integrating the spiritual power of heaven and earth does not only not need half a year, but can be as good as new and strong as long as 2 days. Moreover, the power of heaven and earth can completely change the patient's pathogenic genes, so that his offspring can completely eliminate such diseases. Cut off the root cause, once and for all. Lin Sihengren laughed inexplicably. This ability is better than I thought. He looked at the clothes he hadn't changed for 2 days. It seems that I should go out, put the pill aside, take out the phone and call Pan Lin to ask her about a recent situation. In the hospital ward, Zhang Jingxi, who looked a little pale, was lying on the bed in a hospital gown. She looked out the window, and her pupils were rows of ginkgo trees planted on a small road in the hospital. Because it was summer, the leaves on the ginkgo trees were dark green and looked full of vitality. When the wind blew, the leaves on the tree swayed in the wind, which was very beautiful. Zhang Jin and Fang Meng sat there, neither of them spoke. Fang Meng came here yesterday. After arriving at the villa, she was shocked to know that the eldest lady was in the hospital. She asked the driver to bring her here early in the morning. Later, after a simple inquiry, she found out that the eldest lady had a cardiovascular disease, and it was a terminal illness, and the deterioration rate was very fast. At that time, she thought of one thing. Wasn't Lin Sihengren studying a book on cardiovascular diseases the day before yesterday? Aunt Lin also said that he had only started reading books without sleep recently, and she saw it with her own eyes. Could it be that Lin Zhengren studied those books for the eldest lady? Qian, Zhang Jingshi suddenly spoke. Zhang Jin and Fang Meng both raised their heads. Zhang Jingshi looked back at Zhang Jin. Although her face began to look pale due to the disease, her expression did not change much from usual, and she was still gentle. You don't have to stay here with me every day. I'm fine. Go home and have a rest. Fang Meng looked at Zhang Jin, who was haggard, and said, well, why don't you go back and have a rest? I'll stay here with the young lady, and you can at least have a good sleep. But Zhang Jin had no intention of getting up at all, and just replied calmly, I can rest here, and I don't want to go back. Zhang Jingshi sighed helplessly, knowing her sister's personality. Just as she was about to continue looking out the window, her brain began to be dazed again. The dizziness made her frown slightly. Fang Meng and Zhang Jin saw it and hurried over. Young lady, sister, but this time the daze only lasted for a moment. Zhang Jingshi smiled and said, it's okay, you don't have to be so nervous. Even if the doctor says that the deterioration is fast, it's not that fast. Zhang Jin looked at the medicine sent from abroad on the table, but haven't you taken the medicine since the day before yesterday? Why is there no sign of improvement? Zhang Jingshu also felt that the medicine the hospital gave her was ineffective. When the doctor gave the medicine, didn't he say that everyone's reaction after taking the medicine is different? Maybe the effect of the medicine hasn't taken effect yet. No one spoke. But at this moment, the mobile phone that had been placed on the bedside table suddenly rang. The three of them looked at it together. Zhang Jingshi quickly reached out to see who was calling, because Pan Lin no longer reported the company's affairs to Zhang Jingshi in the past few days, so the caller was either Zhang Group or him. But now Zhang Jingshi saw the number displayed on the phone screen. Her originally happy expression fell again. It was not Lin Zhengren who called, but Zhang Group. She had no intention of answering the phone. Just as she hung up and wanted to put the phone back, the door of the ward suddenly opened. Lin Zhengren walked in. Chapter 233 Hope Itself. In the morning, when Lin Zhengren called Pan Lin in the laboratory to ask if anything had happened in the company in the past 2 days, he guessed from Pan Lin's worried tone that something had happened. Sure enough, after some questioning, Pan Lin told him about Zhang Jingshi's hospitalization a few days ago. Lin Zhengren only asked, which ward is she in? Pan Lin told him the location, and he replied, I know, I'll go and see. Then he hung up the phone. At this time in the ward, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng were worried about Zhang Jingshi's brief dizziness just now, but as the door of the ward was pushed open, everyone turned their heads and looked at the door. They thought it was a doctor or a nurse coming to check on the ward, but they didn't expect that the familiar figure that always gave people a sense of security made the three of them slightly startled. Especially Zhang Jingshi, she didn't expect him to come so suddenly. The tired eyes became energetic in just a moment, and her eyes widened. She even forgot that she was sick and sat up. Lin Zhengren saw that the three of them were all there and greeted them. You are all here? How is Sister Zhang? Zhang Jingshi felt like she was dreaming. The person she wanted to see the most in the past 2 days was Lin Zhengren, not just because he was looking for a cure, but because Zhang Jingshi's heart would be at peace and calm when she saw her. Brother Zhengren, Lin Zhengren walked to Zhang Jingshi's side and first took her pulse with his hand to check her physical condition. At this moment, Lin Zhengren's medical skills were different from before. The meticulous observation brought by the third-level mastery of all things could fully understand Zhang Jingshi's current physical condition. After checking the pulse, he breathed a sigh of relief. The condition is a little more serious than before, and the body is a little weak, but it's nothing serious for the time being. Lin Zhengren Zhang Jin looked at Lin Zhengren. She knew that her sister had been looking forward to his coming these days, but she didn't know what he was going to do specifically. Fang Meng was also staring at Lin Zhengren, wanting to say something but stopping. It seemed that in everyone's eyes, his appearance always made some impossible things possible. Lin Zhengren looked at the two of them. You two have been here for several days, right? You look exhausted. Go and have a rest. I'll be here. The two did not speak, and the three of them were staring at him. Lin Zhengren reminded them, don't worry, I'm not here to visit the sick or take over the shift. I'm here to treat the disease. If you two believe me, go and have a rest and come back tomorrow. Maybe Sister Zhang will recover tomorrow. Otherwise, you will bother me here. Fang Meng opened her eyes wide when she heard this. Sure enough, Lin Zhengren has been studying the eldest lady's disease these days. Jiang Jin's cold eyes also slowly widened, and her voice changed from confusion to excitement. What do you mean sister's body may recover tomorrow? Does it mean that this disease can still be cured? Lin's Hengren, do you have a way? Lin's Hengren didn't say anything, just smiled. Jiang Jin stared at his eyes that were still as confident as usual, and answered quickly in a trance, okay, then I will leave with Xiao Meng now. If you have a way to cure my sister's disease, no, the Jiang family owes you a huge favor. Fang Meng saw that Jiang Jin's eyes, which were originally full of despair, were shining again, and hurriedly said, then we won't bother you here. What time will we come tomorrow? Lin's Hengren thought for a while. Afternoon. The two nodded, looked at Jiang Jingshi again, said goodbye simply, and left without hesitation. Jiang Jingshi also said, you two go home slowly. In this short minute, Jiang Jin, Fang Meng and Lin's Hengren didn't talk much. Even Lin's Hengren didn't say how to treat this disease or what method to use, but in the eyes of Jiang Jin and Fang Meng, they didn't think Lin's Hengren would say something wrong. After Jiang Jin and Fang Meng left, Jiang Jingshi stared at Lin's Hengren's profile. A light blush on her pale face. You're here. She wanted to hug Lin's Hengren, but Jiang Jingshi, who had never been in a relationship, didn't dare to do so. She just clenched her fists and stared at him intently. Lin's Hengren also looked at Jiang Jingshi and sat casually on the bed. Well, I just called Sister Pan, and she told me that you were in the hospital, so I came directly. Jiang Jingshi smiled from the bottom of her heart. I'm fine, you don't have to worry too much, but I reminded her not to tell you, for fear of disturbing you, but she still did. I called her. Why did she disturb me? And I have already developed a medicine that can cure your disease, so I came here. Huh? Jiang Jingshi's face was full of disbelief, and she even thought she had heard it wrong. After all, it's only been a few days? This disease, which has been studied by many experts for so long and is called a terminal illness, should not be able to be created in less than a week, even if Lin's Hengren is right. Lin's Hengren repeated, I said I have already researched something that can cure your disease, but this thing is rather strange. I think no one in the world has eaten this kind of thing, so after taking it, you should try to lie flat on the bed and keep calm. I will observe your body's reaction to the medicine. Lin's Hengren really didn't know what the normal person would react to after taking the elixir with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, so he was still very cautious about this matter. Jiang Jingshi didn't hear the second half of the sentence. She just said in disbelief, you mean you have already researched the medicine? So fast. It really took less than a week. Lin's Hengren nodded. I can only say that our luck is better than we thought. Luck. Jiang Jingshi didn't believe such words. She looked at Lin's Hengren blankly with a subtle expression, marveling at what kind of genius he was. As her pupils trembled, a line of unspeakable hot tears fell from the corners of her eyes. Lin's Hengren was puzzled. What's wrong? Jiang Jingshi didn't understand, and her tone was trembling. What's wrong? She didn't even feel that she was crying at first. After touching the tears on her cheeks with her hands, she hurriedly wiped them with her hands. He said to himself, why am I crying? I'm not sad at all, I didn't expect you to be able to do it in such a short time. Lin's Hengren watched Jiang Jingshi's tears pouring out, staring at him while wiping her tears. He knew that although her gentle expression looked the same as usual, he knew that she believed that she could find a way. But deep down in her heart, she might still be full of fear for her future life. Or to some extent. Jiang Jingshi was really afraid of the fact that she might never get out of bed for the rest of her life. But what Lin's Hengren said at this moment was like a beacon, turning all her inner fears into hope for her future life. Seeing that she was emotional, Lin's Hengren reached out to wipe her tears. The result was the same as last time in the car. As soon as his hand touched Jiang Jingshi's face, Jiang Jingshi could no longer control her emotions and threw herself into his arms. Lin's Hengren hugged her, who was excited and crying, and comforted her. Don't cry, didn't I tell you that I can find a way? Jiang Jingshi burst into laughter and hugged him tightly. Lin's Hengren stroked her long hair with his hand. After holding her for a while, we will start treating her. Chapter 234 Treatment ends. After locking the door of the ward, Lin's Hengren looked at Jiang Jingshi, who had calmed down a lot. Although her eyes were still red because she had been crying for too long, she could see the happiness on her face. Jiang Jingshi asked gently, what did you ask me to do just now? Can we treat the disease here? Lin's Hengren came to her side and took out a small box from his pocket. After opening it, there was a black pill inside. The pill was about the size of a small finger. Lin's Hengren handed it to Jiang Jingshi. Take it first, Jiang Jingshi didn't ask much. After taking it with both hands, she just sighed. Such a big pill, can I chew it? Yes, but I should be able to swallow it without chewing. Jiang Jingshi put it in her mouth, thinking it would be very bitter, but after eating it in her mouth, she found that she didn't even have time to taste it. The thing was a bit like cotton candy. The pill melted in her mouth and went down her throat in a flash. Jiang Jingshi sighed. What a strange medicine. Then what, Lin's Hengren, did you swallow it? Yeah, it melted by itself once it entered your mouth. Next, you lie on the bed, close your eyes and relax. Jiang Jingshi nodded, and lay obediently on the bed, covered with a quilt, and nervously took a long breath and closed her eyes. She didn't know how Lin Sehengren would treat her, but she would do whatever he said. As a result, after closing her eyes, she only found that Lin Sehengren was holding her pulse with one hand and did nothing. After waiting for about 10 minutes, she couldn't help but close her eyes and asked curiously, "Aren't you going to start yet?" Lin Sehengren stared at her pretty face. "The treatment is over, and the next step is to see the reaction." Huh? Jiang Jingshi opened her eyes in disbelief, but then remembered Lin Sehengren's words and closed them quickly. It's over? But I just took a pill. Is it normal to take medicine when you are sick? This special medicine is the result of my research this week. Don't underestimate it. The effect of this medicine will slowly spread in your body, and there may be some reactions later. Yes, but it's much simpler than I thought. Lin Sehengren probed Jiang Jingshi's pulse. He could feel the effect of the medicine slowly spreading in her body and moving towards the lesion. The reason why hereditary diseases are called terminal illnesses is that there are hidden dangers in the body from the beginning. After that, as long as there is a little inducement, this hidden danger will start to develop inadvertently. And this special medicine filled with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth can directly restore the lesion to its normal state while changing the genes of the lesion. Lin Sehengren closed his eyes, and the spiritual energy reorganized the cell genes bit by bit like renovating a damaged road, melting the lesion. He smiled and reminded Jiang Jingshi, after taking the medicine, your body may show signs of detoxification, probably manifested as vomiting. If you feel it, just go to the bathroom. Jiang Jingshi hummed. Lin Sehengren asked again, do you feel anything in your body now? She closed her eyes and frowned, unable to tell what it felt like. It seems a little bit, but I can't tell what it felt like. It's a bit like eating expired mints in my brain. Lin Sehengren was curious about what this description was. Have you ever eaten expired mints? Jiang Jingshi smiled. No, I just have that feeling. I don't like snacks very much. I will get fat and look ugly. Lin Sehengren was helpless. You are already good looking enough, so just lie down like this, and go to the bathroom when you feel like vomiting. He took back his hand that was probing for the pulse. Jiang Jingshi, who closed her eyes, was happy to be praised by him, but when she noticed that his hand had left, she subconsciously grabbed his hand and asked carefully, what are you going to do? Nothing, I'll just watch you here, he replied. Jiang Jingshi looked relieved and nodded. Lin Sehengren looked down at her fair jade hand. In the past, Jiang Jingshi often wore a silver diamond ring on her left hand, which was a work of art. She used to wear it on her index finger. Now, there are faint lines on her index finger caused by long-term wearing. But today, Jiang Jingshi's ring has been moved to her middle finger. The middle finger of a woman represents that the wearer is now in a stable relationship and has someone in her heart. Sister Jiang's ring has changed its position. Lin Sehengren held her hand. Jiang Jingshi blushed and did not speak. She just responded to Lin Sehengren's handshake and hummed. She whispered, you haven't slept much this week, have you? I'm afraid you won't believe me if I say I slept, and I have to find a way to cure you first when you are sick, otherwise I won't have the heart to think about many things. She held Lin Sehengren's hand very hard, feeling Lin Sehengren's warm big hand holding her palm. She felt very fulfilled in her heart. I don't know how to answer you, but you saved this life, and I will be yours from now on. She paused and blushed, although in my sister's heart, I have been yours for a long time. You are the only one in the world who is worth marrying. Jiang Jingshi's body didn't respond in the afternoon until the evening. Jiang Jingshi suddenly began to feel nausea frequently. She went to the bathroom, but she couldn't vomit anything. The saliva she spit out occasionally had a hint of black. She always rinsed her mouth quickly, for fear of dirtying Lin Sehengren's eyes. Lin Sehengren would always check her meridians after she vomited, and let her lie down again after confirming that there was no problem. She went back and forth countless times. It was not until 4 or 5 in the morning that nausea finally disappeared. The spiritual energy's replacement and repair of tissues finally ended. When the sun shone in the hospital ward the next day, it shone on Zhang Jingxi's gentle and peaceful face. Zhang Jingxi, who had not slept all night, looked a little tired, but her complexion was no longer so pale, and was much rosier than the previous few days. Her eyes also had light. Her stomach was rarely hungry, and it growled a few times. She looked embarrassed. Lin Zhengren, I'll go get you some breakfast to fill your stomach. Zhang Jingxi held his hand and shook her head. No, don't leave. This hospital will deliver breakfast. There is a special restaurant. Lin Zhengren felt that this kind of private hospital is really different. He called the nurse who took care of him to get food. 2 servings. Soon 2 bowls of millet porridge and some nutritious meals were delivered. Although Zhang Jingxi is not cheap, she is not very particular about food. She sat up and ate with Lin Zhengren on the bed. In the past few days, due to illness and psychological factors, she has never had an appetite. But this morning Zhang Jingxi felt that her appetite was open. Although she still chewed slowly, she ate a lot. I feel a lot more relaxed. This medicine is really effective. Do I need to take another pill today? Lin Zhengren drank the porridge. No, that pill is enough. You can get some sleep this morning, and let the hospital check you in the afternoon. Check? Do you mean to see the reaction of the pill last night before prescribing the right medicine? What reaction? It's over. She was puzzled. Lin Zhengren looked at her with a smile. Medicines that are too magical always make people feel bizarre, which leads to many things having to be explained several times. But it is normal. After all, no one would believe that such a serious disease can be cured by just one medicine. So Lin Zhengren said directly, you will know after the examination at the hospital this afternoon. Don't worry about the rest. Zhang Jingxi saw sticky traces of millet porridge at the corners of Lin Zhengren's mouth. She wiped it off with toilet paper and smiled. Well, sister, have you become stupid? I feel that sometimes I can't understand what you say, and I have to ask again. Lin Zhengren laughed. It will be fine after recovery. Zhang Jingxi also pursed her lips gently. Her eyes were full of the person in front of her. Chapter 235 Medical Miracle. At around 10 o'clock in the morning, Zhang Jingxi fell asleep peacefully in the ward, making up for staying up late last night. In the parking lot of the hospital, a Rolls-Royce had been parked there for a while, and Feng Meng and Zhang Jin were sitting in the back seat of the car. The two of them looked at a ward in the hospital from time to time. Lin Zhengren said last night that they could only go there after noon today, and the two did not dare to go a minute earlier. But they couldn't stay at home, so they came early to wait. Zhang Jin looked at the ward that was no different from yesterday with cold eyes, but she was extremely nervous inside. Both of her hands were clenched. She was afraid that Lin Zhengren would also be helpless with the disease. After all, the doctor said it was a terminal illness. Xiao Meng, do you think the disease can be cured? Feng Meng saw Zhang Jin's worry, but when she took Lin Zhengren to the library that day, she remembered that Lin Zhengren had said in person, I have thought of a way. She should be right. Even if it's a terminal illness, there's always a precedent in the world. Lin Zhengren is the youngest and most unimaginable genius in all fields that I've ever seen. With him, I believe he can definitely be cured. Zhang Jin glanced at Feng Meng, and the two looked at each other, then stared at the window of the ward again, with hope in their eyes. I think so too. If others can't do it, he can definitely do it. Zhang Jin paused and said, although I didn't know he could actually be a doctor. The two best friends waited until 12 o'clock noon. As the time jumped to 12:15, Zhang Jin and Feng Meng just happened to walk to the door of the ward. Both of them stared at the quiet ward, watching everything the same as yesterday. It seemed that nothing had changed, but they hoped that everything had changed. Zhang Jin took a deep breath and knocked on the door. Lin Zhengren said from inside, come in. He pushed the door open and walked out. Lin Zhengren saw that it was the two of them, glanced at the time and smiled. You're here? So punctual? It's exactly 12 o'clock. The two best friends stared at Zhang Jingxi, who was sleeping peacefully on the bed. Especially Zhang Jin, looking at her sister, who was not sure if she was in a coma. There were no messy instruments or advanced equipment beside the bed. For a moment, she felt that Lin Zhengren had failed, because if she had improved, why was the ward exactly the same as yesterday? But even so, she still struggled to muster up the courage to ask, how is it? Looking forward to that little bit of hope. Until she saw Lin Zhengren smiling and saying, very successful, but she didn't sleep much last night. Isn't this just catching up? When she wakes up, let the hospital re-examine her in the afternoon and we will know." Zhang Jin was stunned for a moment, and finally came to her senses. She stared at Lin Suhengren to make sure she heard it right, and Fang Meng also smiled happily. Zhang Jin asked, "Very successful? Does it mean that there is improvement?" Fang Meng smiled and said, "Can it really be cured?" Seeing the two people's happy look, Lin Suhengren said casually, "Didn't I say that she will be better when you come again today? Since I said it, I will definitely not break my promise." Fang Meng just said, "Too amazing." As a result, Zhang Jin suddenly flew into Lin Suhengren's arms. Not only Lin Suhengren, but even Fang Meng was stunned by this scene. Zhang Jin hugged Lin Suhengren tightly, tears of nervousness burst out of her eyes. "Thank you, Lin Suhengren, thank you. I knew you could do it. Even if the doctor says it can't be cured, you can definitely do it." Lin Suhengren knew how nervous she was as a sister, and smiled at Fang Meng in the distance. Zhang Jingshi, who was originally asleep on the hospital bed, was also awakened at this time, or it could be said that she was awakened by poaching. Because in her sleep, she vaguely heard Lin Suhengren's voice and her sister's voice, and inexplicably dreamed that her sister was snatching Lin Suhengren from her as usual. So when she opened her eyes, she saw her sister hugging Lin Suhengren. She was so excited that she even sat up all of a sudden. When she sat down, Fang Meng and Zhang Jin were startled. Zhang Jin wiped her tears and came to her sister. "Sister, are you awake? Are you feeling better than last night?" Fang Meng also came over. "Miss, how are you feeling?" Zhang Jingshi paused for a moment, half asleep and half awake, with a look of jealousy on her face. Seeing her sister crying, she also had the emotion of comforting her sister. "It's getting better, but..." She glanced at Lin Suhengren and then at her sister. "What were you two doing just now?" Zhang Jin was puzzled. "What are you doing?" Fang Meng quickly understood and laughed. It can be seen that the eldest lady is really getting better, otherwise she wouldn't be in the mood to be jealous. Her laughter made Zhang Jin even more puzzled, and Lin Suhengren also breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, Lin Suhengren and Fang Meng sat on one side, and Zhang Jin sat next to her sister. "Sister, do you really feel much better than yesterday? How did you get better?" "Surgery." Zhang Jingshi shook her head. "I took some medicine last night and I feel much better." "Medicine?" Lin Suhengren took his phone to the side and simply replied to the messages of the little ones. After all, they hadn't seen each other for several days. After chatting, he replied, "I have developed a special medicine that can be cured without any surgery, and surgery is useless for Sister Jiang's disease." Zhang Jin was really surprised to hear this. Although it feels unrealistic to develop special medicines by yourself, unrealistic things often happen to Lin Suhengren. Looking at Lin Suhengren with admiration, she said to her sister, "It's okay as long as you can get better." Zhang Jingshi nodded. Lin Suhengren picked up a bottle of mineral water he had just drunk from the side and found that there was no water in it. Fang Meng asked, "No water?" Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingshi also heard this, because there were several bottles of unopened high-end mineral water next to the bed. Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingshi both took it. The two of them unexpectedly grabbed the same bottle of water. The two sisters looked at each other in confusion. "Zhang Jingshi, Qianqian, what are you doing?" Even if Zhang Jin was in a good mood, her voice was a little cold. "Bring him water." "What am I doing?" "You are a patient, sit down quickly." Zhang Jingshi thought of the scene just now. Although she didn't say it later, she was jealous. "I'm much better, I'll get it for him, you sit down." While talking, Fang Meng got up and took another bottle of water to Lin Suhengren. Lin Suhengren took the water and said thank you. The two sisters saw that Lin Suhengren had already started drinking, so they let go together. But after letting go, looking at Lin Suhengren drinking water, the two sisters stared at each other meaningfully. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Suhengren arranged for the hospital to do a disease examination for Zhang Jingshi. The expert doctors in charge of the examination were all very nervous, but Zhang Jingshi knew her condition very well, especially with Lin Suhengren accompanying her. She was very relaxed. Pushed into the instrument room. Lin Suhengren, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng were waiting outside. After a careful inspection, a doctor in the instrument room suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "Huh? Is the instrument broken?" The expert next to him asked, "What's wrong? It should be an operating error." "Wait a minute, let me adjust it again." The expert thought to himself, how could there be an operating error at this time? His face was serious. But after the doctor who was observing the instrument carefully checked, he objected, "The instrument is fine. Look at the location of the lesion. Why did the location that was gradually deteriorating the day before yesterday suddenly return to normal today? The lesion is completely invisible. Several experts were watching on the side, observing the image on the monitor in detail. After each of them looked at it carefully, they kept saying incredulously, "It seems to be true. What's going on? How could such a thing happen? This is illogical." Check the instrument data parameters carefully again. The doctor who was observing the instrument checked again. There is no problem, and the instrument shows it very clearly. The lesion has disappeared. It's not even getting better, it's just gone. Outside the examination room, Zheng Jin and Fang Meng also heard this, and they all looked at Lin Zhengren with smiles on their faces. Lin Zhengren also smiled. "I thought that there were still many unexplained medical miracles in history, and mine was not a big deal." Chapter 236 Angel's Daughter Zhang Jingxi. After a thorough examination, Zhang Jingxi was pushed out. She got out of bed. Because she could only vaguely hear the discussion outside when she was in the instrument room, and could not hear the specific content, she was very curious about what the doctors were talking about. But she was excited because she saw Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jin Fang Meng smiling outside through the transparent glass as soon as she got out of bed. After walking out of the instrument room, Fang Meng quickly supported her. "Miss, how do you feel?" Zhang Jingxi smiled and said, "It's just an examination, I don't feel anything." She and Lin Zhengren looked at each other, and they smiled knowingly, which gave Zhang Jingxi a great sense of security. Zhang Jingxi curiously asked the doctor, "How is my illness? What does the instrument show? Has it continued to deteriorate?" Several experts studied there for a long time and were puzzled, so they hurried over to ask me, "Mr. Zhang, has anything strange happened to you in the past few days? How do you feel now? Have you not had any signs of dizziness in the past 2 days? What have you eaten or done anything special in the past 2 days? Zhang Jingxi looked at many experts who came around and asked many questions, and her face was full of surprise. Having been working in the business for many years and being meticulous, she is sure that her illness has improved greatly, otherwise these people would never be so shocked. But since Lin Zhengren didn't say anything, Zhang Jingxi would not say anything. That was what he had researched. She shook her head. "Nothing special happened. I just lay in bed every day and took the medicine you gave me. Oh, yes, I felt a little nauseous yesterday, and I wanted to vomit for a long time. The doctors and nurses know this. The nurses on the ward round saw her vomiting last night, so Zhang Jingxi didn't intend to hide it." The experts were puzzled. "Vomiting? Why vomiting?" Zhang Jingxi smiled. "I don't know about that. I didn't eat anything messy. Besides, how is my body? I feel pretty good today." "What about the instrument?" The experts looked at each other, and they were even more puzzled, whispering that it was really strange and incredible. One of the experts looked at Zhang Jingxi as if she was a favorite of God, and said with a smile, "Boss Zhang, even we can't understand it, but your illness is completely cured?" Zhang Jingxi was stunned and surprised. "Ah, cured?" She thought it was just getting better, because her body was really much more relaxed today, but cured, her disease was terminal. Just took a pill given by Lin Zhengren, vomited for half a night and recovered? So easy and simple. Fang Meng and Zhang Jin on the side also opened their eyes wide and smiled when they heard the word cured. Zhang Jingxi was also amazed. Does cured mean it's healed? Completely healed? The lesion has disappeared. The expert nodded and pointed to the image just generated on the instrument. "Look, the lesion at this location is already irreversible, because you have a genetic disease, and the shadow marks should be irreparable. Even the advanced foreign drugs you are taking can only try to reduce the severity of your condition. But I don't know why, it was clearly getting worse and was about to evolve into the late stage of the disease last time, but suddenly it's healed," the expert emphasized. "And the healed I'm talking about is not like a scab growing on a person's skin after an injury, with traces of repair, but it's completely healed. It's become the same as normal, and we don't even know how it was repaired." Zhang Jingxi listened to those words that seemed completely unrealistic, but looking at the images she knew that everything was real. After the experts finished speaking, they shook their heads. "This is amazing, this is a medical miracle, something that is impossible has happened." One expert even murmured, "This will definitely cause a big wave in the medical community, it is simply incomprehensible." Zhang Jingxi turned back quietly to look at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren did not speak from beginning to end. Later, Zhang Jingxi returned to the ward and locked the door. Fang Meng, Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi were all happy. Lin Zhengren was also happy for Zhang Jingxi's recovery. The next morning, Her recovery from terminal illness caused a sensation in the hospital, and experts from the entire hospital came. The dean also came. The ward was crowded with various doctors, and even Jiang Jingshi was given a full-body examination with instruments. It was confirmed that she was really cured, and there were no problems with other parts of the body. After observing for most of the day, Jiang Jingshi sat on the bed in her hospital gown in the afternoon. Lin Zhengren, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng stood aside. The rest of the ward was full of various doctors and experts. Jiang Jingshi thought that this would surprise the hospital, but it was a bit unexpected that it was so lively. The doctors were analyzing the film images, all dumbfounded. Finally, Jiang Jingshi asked, "Since I'm well, can I be discharged? You've all been observing for a day, and I'm quite busy." The dean came over and smiled when he heard this. "Mr. Jiang, the business circle says that you are the chosen one. I occasionally think it's just a description when I see these news, but after experiencing this, I believe it. Of course you can be discharged from the hospital, but if you feel any discomfort after leaving, I hope you can come for a checkup in time, and our hospital will immediately re-examine you." Jiang Jingshi nodded. Of course, another day passed, and Jiang Jingshi was discharged smoothly. Everything was much faster than expected. After all, no one likes to stay in the hospital environment all day, and there are so many people coming and going in the ward all day. She also feels annoyed. There is no chance to be alone with Lin Zhengren. It's just that she was discharged from the hospital, but the follow-up of this matter is bigger than everyone imagined. Almost on the day of discharge from the hospital, the event Jiang Group, Jiang family's eldest daughter Jiang Jingshi suffered from a terminal illness and miraculously recovered, rushed to the top of the hot search. The hot search emphasized that this was an absolutely incurable disease, but she miraculously recovered in just 2 days. There are endless claims that she is simply a favorite of God and an angel reincarnated. Moreover, the news also talked about all the positive deeds that Jiang Jingshi had done from birth to growing up. For example, she was born with fair skin and beautiful looks, and had a keen business sense. Not only did she learn operations when she was a minor, but she also created a lot of profits for the company after she became an adult. Later, she also opened a Zhangxi company with others. It was a completely cheating life, absolutely not an ordinary person. 2 days later, all the branches of Zhangxi company, the anchor company, the music company, and the sports company suddenly began to explode by 10 times and dozens of times. Because many netizens began to pay attention to the various projects of Zhangxi company due to the news, this incident inadvertently gave Zhangxi company a super large-scale commercial promotion across the country. For a time, the word Jiang Jingshi, the angel daughter of Zidong City, even became an absolute hot topic. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237, Visiting to Thank You. 2 days after being discharged from the hospital, in the 2-story villa of the Jiang sisters in Zidong City, Jiang Jingshi and Jiang Jin sat on the sofa as if they were being trained, and Fang Meng also stood aside with her head down and her hands clasped in front of her. Across from them were Jiang's father, Jiang's mother, and grandfather, who were scolding them severely. Jiang's mother put the news magazine on the table. Jiang's father said angrily, "Such a big thing, and you 3 were able to hide it from your elders without anyone knowing. I think you are really brave." Jingshi, Jiang's father's last sentence was particularly angry, and Jiang Jingshi responded, "Yes, Dad, I'm listening. Are you still listening? Are you listening? This disease can be cured, but what if it can't be cured? This is a terminal illness. A terminal illness. If it can't be cured, do you plan to keep you from getting out of bed?" Jiang's mother hid her husband's arm with her hand, meaning that you can't say unlucky words even if you are angry. Father Jiang changed his wording. "When are you going to tell us?" "Huh? What are you going to tell us? You don't take me and your mother seriously at all." Jiang Jingshi felt that she hadn't been scolded like this for a long time, but since she wanted to hide it from her parents, she had expected today's scolding. Her tone was gentle but not guilty. She said, "Mom and Dad, it's not that I don't care about you. I just don't want to make you worry and affect your work." Mother Jiang pursed her lips and frowned, saying distressedly, "How can work be as important as you? In your parents' hearts, you and Kaiankian will always be the first." Father Jiang was also puzzled. Affect us? Affect what? Yes, your mom and I are busy making money all day, but once something happens that concerns you too, won't your mom and I drop everything to take care of you? Do you know how scared your mom and I were when we saw the news? This is a terminal illness. You may never get out of bed again. After scolding the elder sister, Father Zhang looked at the younger daughter, Qian. And you? It's understandable that your sister didn't want to tell us that she was sick, but what about you? How dare you not tell me and your mom about such a serious matter? And Xiamen, you have really been led astray by Qian. Each one is more daring than the other. Feng Meng was so scared that her body trembled. She lowered her head and dared not speak. She only replied, "I'm sorry, uncle and aunt." Jiang's mother tried to smooth things over, saying, "Don't talk about Xiamen. She is on the same page with Jin Jin, which is a good thing." Jiang's father was speechless, but he actually knew that it was important for his assistant to be on the same page with his daughter. This kind of unity is something that many entrepreneurs can't even ask for, so he didn't say anything more. Grandpa felt that he had scolded enough, so he coughed a few times and interrupted, "Okay, I think you have said enough. My eldest granddaughter has just recovered from a serious illness, and my youngest granddaughter has taken care of my eldest granddaughter for such a long time. Just say a few words." He looked at his son and daughter-in-law and said angrily, "You two, don't put all the blame on the children. Jingxi has been sick in the hospital for nearly a week. She didn't tell you. Don't you two know? You two didn't even have time to see your daughter in a week. If they were more attentive, could they have kept this a secret?" Grandpa said sternly. To put it bluntly, it's dereliction of duty. Jiang's father and mother were speechless and also pretended to be scolded. Jingxi suddenly couldn't help laughing. Jiang's father and mother looked at their daughter. Jingxi also said awkwardly, "Grandpa, don't talk about my parents. My parents still care about me and Qian very much, and I did hide this very well. If I hadn't fainted in the yard that day, Qian and Xiaomeng wouldn't know." Grandpa sighed, picked up the magazine on the table and opened it. Looking at the poster of Jingxi on it, he suddenly said, "But you know what? The title of Angel's daughter Jingxi is really good, and the photos taken by the reporters are also very good. My eldest granddaughter is really beautiful in this," Jiang's mother whispered. After all, Jingxi and Qian have been the focus of the crowd since they were young, so no matter how they are photographed, they will not be bad. Grandpa asked, "So what is going on with this matter? How did the disease get cured?" Jingxi and Jin Fengming looked at each other, and they were both meaningful. Jiang's father also looked at Jiang's mother, knowing that there must be something fishy. Because if the terminal illness was really cured inexplicably, his daughter would never have such an expression. Father Zhang was helpless. "Just say it, there are no outsiders here. Your mother, your grandfather and I promise that we won't say a word to anyone else. And judging from your expressions, you three know what's going on, right? Your mother and I are not stupid, don't just say a few words to fool us." After Zhang Jin exchanged glances with her sister, she sat up straight with dignity and suddenly said, "It was Lin Zhengren who saved my sister." Father Zhang, Mother Zhang and grandfather were shocked, their eyes widened at the same time. "Unbelievable. Grandpa, the grandson of my comrade in arms, Jiang's father, what? Lin Zhengren? He saved Jingxi? But how did he do it specifically? Does he know some famous expert or?" Jingxi smiled, "What expert can compare with him? My disease has been proven to be a terminal illness in the world. After he knew I was sick, he found a way to save my life on his own and developed a special medicine." Jiang's mother was surprised. "He researched it himself? So amazing. And wasn't it just a few days from the time you knew you were sick to the time you recovered? That's how he did it." Jingxi recalled that day in the car, thinking of Lin Zhengren's eyes full of love, although I didn't believe it at first when he said he could save me, especially since the doctor had already said it very clearly at the time, but I have known him for so long and he has never lied to me. I felt that maybe he could really do it, and in the end, facts speak louder than words. She raised her head. "If it weren't for him, I dare not imagine what would be my situation now. In short, he really gave me this life." Jiang's father and mother could tell from their daughter's tone and expression that at some point in the past, Jingxi turned from despair to hope. The couple looked at each other in silence. Until Jiang's mother looked at a certain place and sighed, "This Lin Zhengren is really a rare talent in the world. He can also do medicine? This is almost omnipotent. It's not just the first time that I look at him with new eyes. But this is too big. Simply thanking him is not enough." Your father and I have to go to his house in person to thank him. Jiang's father nodded slowly. I have the same opinion. Since he saved my daughter's life, we really have to let people know our sincerity. Even though we are elders, we can't be so pretentious about this. You can ask someone to prepare some good gifts. Jiang's mother nodded. But Zhang Jingshi raised her hand to stop him. Oh, don't. I told you not to go to him for this kind of thing. Jiang's father was puzzled. What's the matter? We are going to express our gratitude, not to do anything else. Zhang Jingshi thought for a while. Having said that, I have to ask his opinion first. I can't cause him any trouble. Mom and Dad, don't take the initiative to do anything. Jiang's mother was curious, so cautious. Grandpa said at this time, that's right. For now, this kid's future prospects are absolutely immeasurable. He must have his own pace in doing things, and Jiangxi Company has become so popular after this incident. Our Zhang family has also been a hot spot recently. It is indeed easy for your parents to cause trouble to others if they move around. Grandpa made a decision. Just do as my eldest granddaughter said. You go and ask Lin Sahengren what he thinks first, and we will follow his ideas. It would be best if we find a time to invite him to have a meal together and treat him well. He is the biggest guest of our family. Zhang Jingshi nodded. Okay, Grandpa, I'll talk to him in the next 2 days. After saying that, she looked at her photo in the magazine, and what came to her mind was the moments she spent with Lin Sahengren in the hospital. I don't know what he is doing now. Should I call him later, or should I go to him directly? Chapter 238 Lin Xiaoli's new job. At around 9 in the morning, Lin Sahengren was brushing his teeth and washing up in the bathroom at home. This week, in order to treat Zhang Jingshi, although there was a system effect, even if he didn't sleep at night, he didn't feel too tired, and he didn't even have dark circles under his eyes, but a good night's sleep can always relax his body and mind. Relaxed. In addition, after Zhang Jingshi's work is done, he can accompany the 3 little girls on a trip. He has been busy for a week. While brushing his teeth, Lin Sahengren picked up his mobile phone to check the time and spit out the toothpaste foam in his mouth to rinse his mouth. Mom Lin Xiaoli and Dad Lin Yingjin didn't go to work today, sitting on the sofa watching TV. Lin Xiaoli leaned on her husband in her home clothes, holding a plate of cherry tomatoes in her arms, chewing them bite by bite. Lin Sahengren asked, Mom and Dad, you don't go to work today? Rest. Lin Xiaoli chewed the cherry tomatoes and replied unhappily, what rest? Your dear mommy, I'm unemployed and have no job, she pouted. Dad said, I'm off duty, unemployed. Lin Sahengren was puzzled. Lin Yingjin interrupted, your mother's nail salon has closed down. It seems that the boss's family lost money in stock speculation and took the store with them. But you're unemployed, so you can take a break for a while and there's no need to rush to find a job. Go bankrupt from stock speculation? That's really brave. The mother pouted and leaned on her husband. When she talked about work, her face was full of worry. You say you're taking a break, but can you not make money? Your father's salary is just this much? Although our family is not that short of money, it's not good to live off our savings. Lin Yingjin looked at his wife and said, how can it be that serious? Our family still has a savings of several $100,000, which is enough for you to take a break for a while. Lin Xiaoli turned around and asked, then Ranran doesn't need to buy a car or a house? What's the use of that 800,000 or 900,000? Do you know how much the housing prices in the city are now? What's the hurry? Lin Yingjin spread his hands. The main thing is that Ranran has just become an adult, and we are not that old either. It's still early for him to get married. It will be no problem to buy a car and pay the down payment when the time comes. Besides, our family only spends money on these 2 things, and we don't have money to spend on other things. Lin Xiaoli, who was chewing cherry tomatoes, frowned and slowed down her voice. Are you sure Ranran will get married very late? Dad was speechless, and they both looked at Lin Sahengren. Lin Sahengren took a cherry tomato from the plate his mother was holding and ate it. You don't have to worry about buying a car or a house. I can buy them myself in the future, and you can use the money to eat and drink. Lin Xiaoli stretched out a finger and reminded, Ranran, money is not so easy to make. Society is very complicated, she thought for a while, but my Ranran is so outstanding. Mom thinks you will definitely find a good job in the future. If you become a leader, maybe you can make 30,000 to 50,000 a month, or even 70,000 or 80,000. He was very happy when he said this. Won't Ranran be a rich man by then? How much money will he make this year? With the year-end bonus, he will make $1 million a year. A real winner in life. Lin Zhangren thought to himself that he should be able to earn this amount in a few hours. Jiangxi company is in the hot spot recently, and he may earn more than this amount in a few hours. Lin Zhangren reminded, Mom, if you still like to run a nail salon, how about I help you open a shop? You can be your own boss. The couple looked at Lin Zhangren together. Lin Yingjin, help? Do you have a lot of money? Lin Zhangren put the cherry tomatoes on the table and sat up straight. By the way, Ranran, what are you busy with recently? You haven't been home for several days and you don't tell us what you are doing. It seems that there is something hidden. It's hidden. How could I do such a thing? He was speechless. Lin Zhangren stared at her son and narrowed her eyes. Don't do illegal things. No, I still do those things. Lily, He Qing and Wenwen occasionally go to participate in some competitions, and I am responsible for helping them. Lin Zhangren said, that is indeed not illegal. You have been doing this since you were a child? Lin Zhangren smiled. So how much money do you have now? Dad was very curious. Lily seemed to be very popular some time ago, right? It's just that she didn't go to perform for the college entrance examination recently, so her popularity has dropped a little. I don't know exactly how much, but it's definitely enough. It's no problem for Mom to open a store. Lin Zhangren was surprised. You don't even know how much money you have? Do you have 30,000 or 50,000? I should have, 100,000 or so. I should have, 500,000 or 600,000. I should have. Is it true? How much exactly? I really don't know exactly how much, but it's definitely enough. Lin Zhangren's expression became strange. Ranran, don't brag. Is 500,000 or 600,000 so easy to make? Don't think that Mom is easy to fool. Mom is not the kind of little girl who has not entered this society. Lin Yingjin didn't take it too seriously. After all, the couple always felt that although their son was excellent in all aspects, it was too early for him to make money. Of course, it wouldn't hurt to earn a little. He thought for a moment, your mother and I don't care how much you earn, but you have to promise us that it won't affect your studies. If it affects your studies, that won't work. Making money is important, but it's definitely not the most important thing. Lin Zhangren, don't worry, Dad. Lin Yingjin looked at his wife, but I don't think it's impossible to open a nail salon. After all, didn't you say you wanted to open a nail salon before? And you have been doing it for so many years and you are very experienced. Lin Zhangren touched her chin with her hand, frowned and thought, I did say I wanted to open one before, but the nail art industry is too competitive now, and the environment is different from before. I actually want to do something else recently. After she finished speaking, she picked up the mobile phone on the coffee table and found a recruitment post on the internet from it. Do you two know? Recently, a very famous company in our city has become popular. It's called Jiangxi Company. I also heard from others that it is a large-scale self-media company. This company has a music company that is recruiting makeup artists. I want to apply for it. I actually wanted to do makeup a long time ago. Makeup artist. Lin Yingjin took his wife's phone and looked at the salary and benefits on it. After reading it, it was indeed good, even quite good, but can you do it? I see that it requires skills and so on, and the conditions are very strict. Lin Zhangren said confidently, why not? When I was doing manicure, I often exchanged these experiences with people. I am also very professional, okay? Look down on your wife. How dare I? Lin Yingjin laughed, you are the best in the world. Ranran is not as good as you. Lin Zhangren proudly, that's not the case. Ranran is still better than me. Lin Zhangren also leaned over to take a look and found that the music company his mother was talking about was Jiangxi Music. Where Lily is. It's okay, if my mother likes it, she can give it a try. After all, my mother is really fast at learning things. Lin Zhangren smiled and said, why don't I go for an interview? Just as Lin Zhangren finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. Lin Zhangren heard the sound and went to open the door. After opening the door, he found that the people who came were Pan Lin and Zhang Jingxi. Chapter 239, Husband, Ranran brought a girl home again. This morning, Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin and Fang Meng were scolded by their parents and had a family meeting in the villa. Zhang Jingxi went back to the bedroom and took her mobile phone to think about whether it would be better to call him or go to him directly. Calling is convenient and fast, and you can hear his voice as quickly as possible, but if you make this call, Lin Zhangren will definitely let you rest at home. It is not suitable to walk around after recovering from a serious illness. You can't disobey him, otherwise you won't be able to see him. But if you go to find him, will it seem a bit abrupt? Is it good or bad for a girl to take the initiative to go to a boy's house to say hello? Is it not polite? But I should be considered his girlfriend, and it shouldn't be a problem to go to him, and I really want to see him. In the past, even when deciding the major events in the company, Jiang Jingshi had never been so entangled. But she knew that no matter what, hesitation would only lead to failure, and the same is true for business and life. In the end, she saw a coin on the table in the bedroom and chose to follow God's will. The front side of the coin is to call, and the back side is to go directly to find him, and the winner will be decided in one game. So she threw the coin gently, and it was heads. Jiang Jingshi stared at the coin in her hand in a daze, her gentle eyes dull, and she said to herself, "It doesn't count this time, throw it again, tail." She smiled, and hurriedly asked Pan Lin to go shopping, pack up and come to find Lin Zhengren. So this scene happened. Lin Zhengren was in the house looking at Jiang Jingshi standing outside the door wearing jeans and pure white long sleeves, with an elegant and gentle posture. After recovering, Jiang Jingshi's face was ruddy, and she looked even more charming against the background of her slightly curly long hair. In the corridor behind were Pan Lin and 3 or 5 men in suits, each holding a bunch of gifts in their hands. Lin Zhengren was puzzled. "Why are you here?" Jiang Jingshi didn't expect that it was Lin Zhengren who opened the door. She thought it would be her aunt or uncle. "Surprise, Brother Zhengren. I'm here to see you." Pan Lin also smiled and greeted, "Good morning, Mr. Lin." Lin Xiaoli, who was sitting on the sofa, also stood up and walked over. "Who is it, Ranran? Who's here?" But when she saw Jiang Jingshi standing outside the door, she was suddenly stunned. For a moment, Lin Xiaoli felt that this girl looked familiar, but soon this familiarity was forgotten and she was amazed by her appearance. Jiang Jingshi has a very mature sister temperament. She is soft and elegant, and anyone who sees her will call her beautiful in their hearts. Jiang Jingshi had seen many clients and bosses, but she was never so nervous when she came to Lin Zhengren's house. She didn't know how to greet them, so she just half bowed. "Hello, Auntie, I am." Lin Xiaoli opened her eyes wide and subconsciously interrupted, "Are you here to see Ranran again?" "Again?" "Yes, that's right, my God. Any girl who comes to her house and looks good must be here to see Ranran." She hurried back and whispered to her husband, "Husband, husband. Come here quickly, something bad is going to happen. Another girl is coming to our house." Lin Yingjin also stood up in surprise when he heard this. After seeing Jiang Jingshi, the couple was amazed again. How did his son do it? From He Qing to Lily to Wenwen to Xiameng and then to this one, does it mean that any girl with an extremely outstanding appearance will be attracted to his son? This is the first time. How will this end in the future? Lin Zhengren looked casual, but he didn't expect Jiang Jingshi to come. Lin Yingjin asked in a daze, "Are you Ranran's friend?" Jiang Jingshi quickly answered, "Yes, my name is Jiang." She never thought that she would be nervous at this time. She was speechless for a moment when she was stared at by Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin. Lin Zhengren continued, "Jingshi, her name is Jiang Jingshi." Lin Yingjin, Lin Xiaoli and Jiang Jingshi all looked at Lin Zhengren. Jiang Jingshi nodded shyly, "Yes, Jiang Jingshi." The couple looked at each other, and there seemed to be 1,000 words in their eyes. Lin Zhengren didn't care about his parents' surprise. Anyway, they always did this, always waiting at the door, so he said to Jiang Jingshi, "Come in, let's go to my room to chat." She responded, "Okay, then uncle and auntie are bothering you. I prepared some gifts for you two for the first visit." She turned around and asked Pan Lin to put down the gifts. Pan Lin also said politely, "Uncle and auntie meet again," then let the people behind her bring all the gifts in. There were large and small packages of various expensive gifts, and there were 40 or 50 boxes one after another. Lin Yingjin was still shocked by his son's popularity with women, but when he saw the half-wall of gifts that appeared out of nowhere, he was puzzled. "You brought so many gifts? That's enough, that's enough." Lin Zhengren was also curious, "Why did you bring so many?" Jiang Jingshi didn't know how much she should bring for her first visit to her boyfriend's house, so she actually asked Pan Lin to buy 4 full cars of gifts. They were all parked at the entrance of the community. This was only half of one of the cars. Jiang Jingshi planned to see when to stop based on the other party's reaction. After all, too much is not good, but too little is definitely not okay. After all, Lin Zhengren's parents will be his parents in the future. Too much. Lin Zhengren looked at the extra half wall and said, "Of course it's a lot, And why haven't you put it all? How many are left? Jiang Jingshi glanced at Pan Lin, meaning that it was enough, and replied, that's all. Lin's Hengren was embarrassed. The way she looked at Pan Lin just now meant that there should be more. Lin Hengren said to his parents, Mom and Dad, we are going to the bedroom. Don't disturb us if there is nothing wrong. Lin Xiaoli pointed at the half wall in a daze, but Ranran, Lin's Hengren had already taken Jiang Jingshi to the bedroom. Pan Lin did not follow, but retreated with the men in suits and waited downstairs. As the bedroom door closed, the front door also closed. Everything suddenly returned to silence. Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin looked at the door of their son's bedroom, and they suddenly realized for a long time before looking at each other again. Lin Xiaoli, husband, do you know what I'm thinking? Lin Yingjin nodded, I probably know, but I guess you can't say it. Well, my head is indeed a bunch of mess, but it's okay for you to know what I'm thinking. I just want to say, can Ranran get away with it if it goes on like this? Isn't she a little too fickle? Lin Yingjin said blankly, yes, but it's a bit late to say this now. The couple said in unison, it's late. But it is necessary to find time to discuss this issue with Ranran, otherwise there will be endless troubles if it continues. Lin Xiaoli walked to the pile of gifts, puzzled, what does this girl do? Why did she buy so many? How much does it cost? And they are all brands I have never seen before. The total cost must be at least 10,000 yuan. Lin Yingjin saw several familiar brands. He bought a box of dried fruits and suddenly frowned. 10,000 yuan? I've seen this brand before. This box alone is more than 3,000. Ah. So expensive? Where did you see it? Why haven't I seen it before? Lin Xiaoli was puzzled. Lin Yingjin said as a matter of course, I am a civil servant after all. Lin Xiaoli quickly covered her husband's mouth. Don't dare to talk nonsense. Lin Yingjin was speechless. Not really, I am at the grassroots level, I am above board, and I said I saw it because I heard about this brand from others. After Lin Xiaoli finished speaking, she looked at the things she knew in the box and picked them up in surprise. There is also mayote. Is this true? What does this girl's family do? Chapter 240 Lin family daughter-in-law. Lin Yingjin stared at the mayote in his wife's hand. It doesn't look fake, and did you notice just now, wife? There's a girl who comes to deliver goods. She was the one who delivered books to Ranran last time, right? She is wearing a whale iron suit. I think she looks a bit like. Lin Xiaoli opened her eyes wide. Sales, Lin Yingjin corrected. What sales? Secretary, I'm talking about secretary. Who said sales? You heard it wrong, Lin Yingjin. Lin Xiaoli pondered. So, the family of this beautiful girl who entered the bedroom with Ranran is also a business owner? Lin's Hengren's bedroom was still full of medical books on cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases because he had just returned home for 2 days and had not started to clean up yet. His parents would not touch Lin's Hengren's things, so Jiang Jingshi came in and saw this familiar scene, and immediately thought of her sister Kaianqian's bedroom. But when she looked at the covers of those books, she found that all the books were medical books, which were different from her sister's miscellaneous books. Sister, it's a bit abrupt for me to come here this time. I hope I didn't disturb you. Lin's Hengren closed the door and smiled. Of course not. What's the matter with you coming here this time? Are you feeling unwell? Jiang Jingshi shook her head. No, I haven't had any symptoms of dizziness or trance in the past 2 days since I was discharged from the hospital. The private doctor at home also checks on me every day. I am in good health. Lin's Hengren nodded. That's fine. He looked at the bedroom full of books and said, you sit on the bed. I haven't started to clean up these books at home yet. There is no space on the chair. I will put all these books in the warehouse in a few days. Jiang Jingshi picked up a book. Are these books all medical books? Are you reading them to study my disease? Lin's Hengren did not deny it. He couldn't deny the facts in front of him. After all, your disease is rather strange and time is tight. So if you want to find a solution quickly, you naturally have to look at the previous cases and studies. Fortunately, hard work pays off. Jiang Jingshi's eyes swept over all the books and looked at every corner of the room. A feeling of heartache emerged from the bottom of her heart. This is his bedroom. It is filled with so many books for his illness. How long will it take to read them? Although she had asked him before in the hospital, and she also expected that he must not have had much rest in the previous week, but when so many things were visible in front of her, Jiang Jingshi still felt that she owed a lot of things in her heart. This kind of favor may never be repaid in a lifetime. Lin's Hengren went to the bed and saw her in a daze. Sit down. Jiang Jingshi responded and put down the book, staring at Lin Zhengren tenderly and affectionately. Lin Zhengren also looked at her. The two looked at each other for a long time, and he smiled. Jiang Jingshi finally pulled herself together, her cheeks flushed as she said, "I came here this time to tell you something. I told my parents that you cured my illness, because I felt that I couldn't keep it a secret. My parents are too familiar with me, and I always get distracted when they talk about you." Lin Zhengren had expected this. "It's okay. When I was discharged from the hospital, didn't I tell you that you could tell your uncle and aunt if they asked?" Jiang Jingshi remembered this. When they separated in the hospital that day, Lin Zhengren explained some of his details. Jiang Jingshi promised, "Don't worry, my parents won't tell anyone else. They both know how much impact this has. It's just that after knowing that you saved me, my parents and grandpa wanted to invite you to my house as a guest." She also told him that Jiwang's father and mother wanted to come to Lin Zhengren on their own initiative at the beginning, but she didn't let them come. She didn't hide the whole story from Lin Zhengren. After listening to this, Lin Zhengren thought about traveling. "I may have to go on a long trip for some things during this period. When I come back, I will probably go to visit my uncle and aunt. It will take about 10 days. I will contact you when I come back with the exact time." Jiang Jingshi nodded and smiled. "Okay. Just come according to your schedule. You don't have to disrupt your rhythm to meet my parents, but going on a long trip is. I have already promised others that I will go out with He Qing, Lily and others." Lin Zhengren is very honest in relationships between men and women, except that sometimes he will conceal the whereabouts of a certain fox. After all, the fox once said not to let himself tell others. At other times, Lin Zhengren has no intention of concealing anything, because sooner or later, they will know each other. It is better to be open and above board than to deceive. However, after hearing this, Jiang Jingshi still felt a little bit jealous, but the other party's honesty made her feel that it was not cheating. Well, that's how it is. Jiang Jingshi could vaguely guess the relationship between Lin Zhengren, He Qing and Zhang Zuli. After all, she had seen how Lin Zhengren got along with them over the years. It was not like an ordinary friendship. Of course, she had never asked anyone to investigate. There was a knock on the door. It was Lin Xiaoli's voice, smiling outside the door. "Ranran? Mom cut some fruit for you? Can I come in and give it to you?" Lin Zhengren replied. "Mom, just come in." Lin Xiaoli pushed the door open and saw the two of them in the house. Jiang Jingshi quickly stood up and greeted them. "Auntie, thank you for your trouble. Let me do it." She wanted to take over the fruit plate from Lin Xiaoli. As a result, Lin Xiaoli laughed and said, "You're welcome, you're welcome." That Jiang Lin Zhengren added, "Jingshi, Jiang Jingshi." Jiang Jingshi looked back at Lin Zhengren when she heard this address, with shyness on her face. As an experienced person, Lin Xiaoli had seen countless beautiful girls come to her house, so she could tell at a glance whether the other party liked her son. Seeing Jiang Jingshi blushing at this moment, Lin Xiaoli sighed silently in her heart. Sure enough, they were not ordinary friends. Lin Xiaoli put the fruit plate on the table. "Xiaoshi, your uncle and I have something to go out, and we probably won't be back at noon. You two can play at home. There are also too many gifts at the door and they are too expensive." Jiang Jingshi listened carefully. Lin Xiaoli smiled and corrected, "Your uncle and I welcome you to visit our home. There is no other meaning. It's just that there are too many and some of them are too expensive." "How much do they cost?" "We will keep 1 or 2 boxes, and you can take the rest back, otherwise aunt and uncle really can't accept them." Jiang Jingshi explained, "It's not expensive. And, this is the first time I visit to honor aunt and uncle. It's not much money, you can just accept it." But Lin Zhengren also knew that Jiang Jingshi really brought too much. How could his parents accept so many gifts? But since it had already been delivered to the doorstep, if they were to take it back, Jiang Jingshi would probably think too much, especially since Jiang Jingshi didn't have much money, so she interrupted as the person involved. "Mom, don't worry about it, go shopping with my dad, I'll talk to her." Lin Zhengren's words saved a lot of excuses, and Lin Xiaoli had to answer, "Okay, Ranran, you decide. Your dad and I are going out shopping. Do I need to buy anything for you too?" Jiang Jingshi waved her hand. "No, Auntie, how can I ask you to buy anything for me?" Lin Zhengren also said, "No, Mom, haha, you guys chat, I won't disturb you." Lin Xiaoli smiled and stepped out and closed the door. Lin Yingjin was already in the living room, packing up his shopping things and relaxing with his unemployed wife. Lin Xiaoli walked to her husband and glanced at him. He sighed and encrypted the call. Indeed, he hooked up with another one, and his heart is obviously on Ranran. Lin Yingjin knew it would be like this when he first saw her, otherwise she wouldn't have brought so many gifts. It was obvious that she was aiming to become the daughter-in-law of the Lin family, like the previous ones. Let's talk to Ranran about this later. This is all we can do today. Let's go shopping. If you go for an interview another day, do you need to buy anything to prepare? Yes, there are a few books to buy, because the interview conditions are quite strict. I have to study hard. Chapter 241. My sister has been your girlfriend for a long time. After Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli left, Lin Zhengren picked up an apple from the fruit plate sent by his mother in the bedroom and put it in his mouth and asked her, "What do you want to eat?" Zhang Jing. She wanted to habitually say no. She never liked to eat when she was a guest at someone else's house, but when the words came to her lips, she realized that this was his house. She also looked at a piece of apple. Lin Zhengren picked up a piece of apple with a toothpick and handed it to her. After taking it, Zhang Jing she said thank you, and ate the apple in small and elegant bites, as if she was really a guest visiting a friend. Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Jingshi's movements when she ate. She was quiet and elegant, sitting in a dignified posture, as if she was always so noble. However, it was precisely because of this kind of dignity in her bones that Zhang Jingshi always felt a little strange when she was with Lin Zhengren. Even though the relationship between the two was no longer the same as before, Lin Zhengren could see that she was cautious in every move and pursued perfection. Lin Zhengren, gifts in the living room. Zhang Jingshi's cell phone rang just as he spoke. With respect for Lin Zhengren, Zhang Jingshi glanced at the caller and hung up the phone and asked him, "Sorry, go ahead." Lin Zhengren casually said, "Just answer the phone first." Zhang Jingshi shook her head. "It's okay, you are more important than the phone." She wanted to say that the person in front of her was much more important than any random call, but seeing Lin Zhengren staring at her, she felt embarrassed, so she just said shyly and gently, "Just go ahead and talk first." Lin Zhengren didn't repeat himself, and casually glanced at her cell phone again. Zhang Jingshi understood what the other party meant, and said embarrassedly, "Okay, then sister will answer the phone first." After picking up the phone and hearing what the other party said, Zhang Jingshi was a little surprised and anxious. "Broken leg? Did you call a doctor?" "Okay, I know." After hanging up the phone, Lin Zhengren heard the content and asked what happened. Zhang Jingshi said, "Yuan seems to have a broken thigh bone." "Yuan? Who is Yuan?" "The cat that is very attached to you in the cat cafe. Do you remember? Didn't you say you had seen it before?" Lin Zhengren remembered that it was the cat that he and Han Wenwen had just met, and was later adopted by Zhang Jingshi in the cat cafe. "I remember, it is said that it fell somewhere while climbing a shelf and got its leg clamped. The cat is a bit old and not as strong as a young cat." Lin Zhengren stood up. "It just so happens that I have nothing to do today, so I'll go with you to take a look. Since the cat cafe called you specially, it proves that this cat must be very important to you." "I haven't seen it for a long time." Zhang Jingshi nodded and stood up. "The reason why it is important is mainly because Lin Zhengren said that he knew this cat at the time, so Zhang Jingshi has been pampering it in the past 2 years. There is a certain degree of reminiscence of the person when seeing something." She asked hastily, "Will it affect you so suddenly?" "It doesn't matter, I'm not that busy." Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingshi walked out of the room. He asked casually, "By the way, the kitten is called Yuan?" Zhang Jingshi said, "It wasn't called that before. It was after you went to the cat cafe that time that I felt that it had a connection with you, so I named it Yuan." "No wonder, I said I had no impression." When passing by the gifts on half of the wall in the living room, Zhang Jingshi reminded, "I don't have to take these gifts back, right? I was planning to give them to my uncles and aunts, and there aren't many. What do you think?" Lin Zhengren thought for a while and said, "Just leave them here. I'll tell my parents in the evening." She breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay." Going downstairs, Secretary Pan Lin, who was waiting downstairs of the residential building, saw the two people coming down and quickly got out of the car to greet them. "Mr. Zhang, Mr. Lin." When Zhang Jingshi said they were going to the cat cafe, Pan Lin asked the driver to drive away. After a 10-minute walk to the cat cafe, the 3 shop assistants stood there with guilt, and the store manager apologized. "I'm sorry, Mr. Zhang. I'm really sorry. It's my fault for not taking good care of you." And if Zhang Jingshi was usually angry, 3 people in the store couldn't take good care of a cat, but when Lin Zhengren was here, she just asked, Don't talk about this. How is the situation now? The store manager replied. The doctor said that the right leg was fractured and it has been treated. It's just that Chuanigan is a little old, so the recovery may be slow. I'm really sorry, Mr. Zhang. Zhang Jingshi frowned and glanced at the man, frightening him so much that his face turned pale. But in the end, he just waved his hand. Go and do other things. Remember this. Those people apologized and left to do their own things. Zhang Jingshi and Lin Suhengren walked to the cat. The kitten seemed to recognize Lin Suhengren and meowed twice. It also rubbed its head against Lin Suhengren and Zhang Jingshi's calves. Lin Suhengren, who is proficient in everything, can see the general condition of the cat's body, and he has decided that the life of pets is much less than that of humans. The first time I saw this cat was in junior high school. At that time, he was still naughty and refused to come down from the tree. He was young and energetic. 6 years later, this cat was obviously less naughty. The kitten looked at Lin Suhengren and then at Zhang Jingshi. It realized something and seemed to have joy on its face and meowed again, but after the joy, it was confused. Lin Suhengren could vaguely understand what it meant. The mastery of all things was actually effective in understanding the emotions of pets. It seemed to be saying, you two are together? What about the big fox sister who saved me? You don't want her anymore? Lin Suhengren smiled helplessly. He patted her head and answered with his eyes, they are together too. The kitten lay there at ease, contented. Although Zhang Jingshi couldn't understand what was going on, she could tell that the cat and the cat seemed to be communicating. What happened just now? Lin Suhengren smiled and said, it's okay. Although this cat is not that young, you have taken good care of it. It is very comfortable here. Except for the broken bones, everything else is fine. Zhang Jingshi really found it strange. You can also treat cats. Lin Suhengren looked at Zhang Jingshi. I know a little bit. This is not just a little bit. You know too much. Yuan fell asleep on the mat, and Lin Suhengren and Zhang Jingshi got up again to look at the other cats. Lin Suhengren looked at the decoration of this place. Sister Zhang, have you changed the decoration here once? Zhang Jingshi nodded and replied, I felt that there were a few places that were not good before, so I adjusted them a little. When she said this, she suddenly remembered a scene at Lin Suhengren's house, and her voice gradually became smaller. By the way, this is the first time you call me Jingshi after knowing each other for so long. Lin Suhengren looked at her in confusion. Zhang Jingshi explained, when we were at your house, it was not that your aunt forgot my name, she only read my last name, and then you said my name was Jingshi. Jingshi is my nickname, only my parents call me that. Lin Suhengren could see from her expression that she liked this name very much. Do you like me calling you that? Zhang Jingshi said shyly. Actually, any name is fine. The name of Sister Zhang is also very good, but it may sound a little strange to outsiders, and it seems that there is a big difference between you and me, but obviously there is not much difference. Lin Suhengren smiled and said, the reason why I call you that is because you always called me Brother Suhengren, and every time we met, it was Brother Suhengren, so I must call you Sister, otherwise it would make me seem very rude. Zhang Jingshi didn't know what to say. She really made a mistake. When she met him in the supermarket, she had never expected that a relationship with him would develop to the present. She whispered to herself, I should have known that I shouldn't have called you that from the beginning. Lin Suhengren, since you like it, I'll call you Jingshi from now on. He paused and called her, Jingshi. Zhang Jingshi stared at him blankly with her cheeks flushed. The simple name made her feel strange. She said gently, well, then I won't call you brother anymore. She thought silently, how about I call you Suhengren's brother Zhang? How about Zhang? Lin Suhengren nodded, okay. Zhang Jingshi smiled and said, I feel a lot closer all of a sudden. After she finished laughing, she saw Lin Suhengren still staring at her. Her heartbeat accelerated as she smiled. She finally asked the question she had always wanted to ask, Zhang. So is Sister your girlfriend now? Are we already together? Do you like Sister? Lin Suhengren reached out and grabbed his arm. He didn't use any force, but Zhang Jingshi had been pulled into his arms. She looked up and looked at him. What else? If I don't like Jingshi, why would I do those things? And since we hugged each other in the car that day, Jingshi has been my girlfriend, right? Zhang Jingshi's beautiful peach blossom eyes were full of joy, and the corners of her mouth unconsciously curled up and bit her lower lip. Do you know how long I have been waiting for you to say this? Of course I am your girlfriend. I have liked you for a long time. She slowly stood on her high heels and approached with her seductive red lips. Lin Suhengren hugged her waist and kissed her. And this time it was not just their lips touching. Instead, Lin's Hengren could feel Jiang Jingshi's initiative and the real tenderness when kissing. She was so happy that there were even tears in the corners of her eyes. Her dream had finally come true. Chapter 242 Signing a Contract with the Imperial City Empress. At noon, Jiang Jingshi made lunch for Lin's Hengren alone in the private kitchen, steak. During the serving, someone's phone received a message from He Qing. The chat message sent by little He Qing through the electronic device also looked soft and sticky. Lin's Hengren, when are you coming? Because after Jiang Jingshi recovered from her illness, Lin's Hengren said that he would go to see them today, but Jiang Jingshi came today. Then he could only go in the evening. After replying to the message, He Qing knew that Lin's Hengren was busy and did not urge him again. Okay, then we will wait for you in the room to come in the evening. Jiang Jingshi also put her steak on the table. She wanted to sit opposite Lin's Hengren, but after thinking about it, she asked, Sister, can I sit next to you to eat? Lin's Hengren thought to himself that Jiang Jingshi really always had the aura of a young lady. Well, just sit anywhere. Seeing that he was playing with his phone, Jiang Jingshi helped him cut the steak. Just after cutting it, the phone rang again. This time it was really work from the Jiang group. Since he recovered, the work phone of the Jiang group has been ringing again and again. Lin's Hengren was curious, is it the Jiang group again? Jiang Jingshi looked disturbed. Well, shall I take the call? After Lin's Hengren agreed, she picked up the phone and said something to the other party. She hung up in a hurry, and it was about some client matters again. Lin's Hengren suggested, are there always a lot of customers at the Jiang group that you can't deal with? Jiang Jingshi habitually said, customers all have different personalities, all kinds of weird, and some people's personalities are hard to figure out. Recently, several manufacturers contacted by Jiang group for new products are difficult to communicate with. Forget it, let's not talk about this, let's eat first. Lin's Hengren smiled and said, let's not talk about it now. After I leave in a few days, won't you still have to spend time on these things? I heard on the phone that you pushed all the work to tomorrow, and in addition to the Jiang group, doesn't our company have a lot of customers to deal with? Jiang Jingshi looked at Lin's Hengren gently. You won't be in the company tomorrow, and I have nothing to do anyway, so I will slowly study how to deal with those customers, and I won't be in a hurry then. Lin's Hengren pondered whether mastering everything would be useful at this time. Do you have detailed information about these customers? Yes, they're all in my mobile phone. What do you want to do? Show it to me. Since he made the request, Jiang Jingshi found the customer information on her mobile phone and handed it to Lin's Hengren. Although these are all Jiang's group secrets, they should not be shown to people from other companies. But Lin's Hengren is different from others. He will never be on guard against Jiang Jingshi. Lin's Hengren simply flipped through the customer information. These people are the target group of Jiang's group's new products, right? Sell the goods to them as much as possible. Yes, these are some bosses from other provinces. Because Jiang's group has a lot of say in the province, business is easy to negotiate, but bosses from other provinces have strange tempers. Lin's Hengren tried to use the mastery of all things to look at the information, and it worked. As long as Lin's Hengren needs experience in any industry, it can be gathered in his mind at the first time. Lin's Hengren pointed to a boss's photo. If this person can't be negotiated directly, you can start indirectly from his ex-wife. Jiang Jingshi was puzzled. Ah, ex-wife? Do you know him? How can I know someone from another province? He pointed to the photo. The photo was taken outdoors. It was a selfie of a middle-aged man wearing a white shirt and suit pants while traveling. There were some picnic items beside, such as blankets and food, and on the blankets were vases with flowers and other small items. Lin's Hengren said, look at the photo. The picnic food is for 2 people. It looks like the boss and his friend are having dinner outside. From the layout, the other party is also a man, but there is a bouquet of flowers on the blanket, plus the wedding ring on the man's ring finger. Jiang Jingshi understood Lin's Hengren at once. The position of the vase and the man's things are placed together, proving that the flowers were brought by him, not his friends. And a man brought flowers to a picnic and wore a wedding ring, so he likes his wife very much. Jiang Jingshi suddenly smiled, without questioning Lin's Hengren. Just curious, it feels logical, but something is weird. For example, why did Jiang know that he must have been divorced just by looking at the photo? Is it because the person eating with him is a man? But what if his wife just couldn't come because of something? And there are men who like flowers. Maybe he is the kind of person who brings flowers to a picnic. Lin's Hengren didn't say much, just pointed to a detail in the photo again. It was the place on the man's ring finger. Jiang Jingxi enlarged the photo, her pupils dilated and she was quite shocked, because she found that the ring on the man's ring finger was different from the ring mark on his finger. The ring he was wearing now was a whole circle smaller than the mark. Lin Zhengren could actually see such a detail at a glance. Lin Zhengren explained, "From this place, it can be seen that this man has a wife now, but the ring he wore in the photo is not the ring he married with his current wife. The marks are different, and it is obvious that he changed it when he went out. In addition to this vase, the probability that this man misses his ex-wife is quite high," Lin Zhengren added. "Of course, my guess is definitely not 100% correct, but with a general direction, the rest can be investigated. Starting from this aspect should be effective." Jiang Jingxi has become a little accustomed to Lin Zhengren's genius attributes. It feels that no matter what he does, he seems to be much more capable than ordinary people. She nodded. "It will definitely work wonders. This ring alone represents a lot of things. If the company's sales can think of a way to do it in this direction, this deal will be done," she praised and said with emotion. "You are really amazing. I always thought I was very sharp in analyzing customers, but compared to you, I don't have any advantage in this area. If I had your ability, I would be much easier to negotiate business in the future." Lin Zhengren stretched out his hand, and Jiang Jingxi was puzzled. "What's wrong?" Lin Zhengren said seriously. "The reason why I said those things just now is not to help you temporarily, but to provide convenience for Jingxi's future work." "Huh? What do you mean?" "Lin Zhengren, hold your hand with me, and Jingxi will answer me sincerely for whatever I say next. After doing these things, I will teach you some experience, and you will be much more relaxed when you look at these materials in the future." Jiang Jingxi looked at Lin Zhengren's serious expression, but she still didn't quite understand what he was doing. But now she is his girlfriend, and Jiang Jingxi will not and does not want to question what he said. "Really? So magical." She held Lin Zhengren's hand, interlocking their fingers. She asked gently, "Okay, what do you want to ask me?" Lin Zhengren asked. "Jingxi, are you willing to follow me from now on?" Jiang Jingxi's eyes trembled. She was still not satisfied with a kiss just now, and her face was red. "Of course, from now on, sister will always be yours and only yours. This life is yours and will follow you forever." "You successfully signed a contract with the Queen of the Imperial City." Lin Zhengren smiled and let go of her hand. "Okay, next I will look at a few more clients, and your work will become easier in the future." She was even more puzzled. "Is this the end?" "Well, although it looks strange, you will know it soon." Then Lin Zhengren analyzed several more clients one after another. Jiang Jingxi originally thought that there would be no changes. After all, they just held hands. But after listening, her beautiful peach blossom eyes became more and more shocked, because the transparency in her mind was unprecedented, and she found that she could gradually keep up with Lin Zhengren's thinking. She could understand more and more where these clients' entry points were. Chapter 243 Farewell and the Upcoming Trip. It's amazing. Why is it like this? I really feel that there is a change. Once I see the information, I can immediately discover many things that I couldn't think of before. After Lin Zhengren finished speaking, he looked at her shocked expression and asked with a smile, "Do you feel that many things are not as laborious as before? It can save you a lot of energy." Jiang Jingxi stared at him in disbelief. "Yes, but what is the principle? Is it some kind of psychological suggestion?" Lin Zhengren smiled but said nothing. Who knows? This made Jiang Jingxi smile helplessly. From the first day she met him, Jiang Jingxi couldn't see through Lin Zhengren, and it seems to be the same now. He always gives people a sense of mystery, which makes people can't help but be curious about him, and their hearts are always on him. Because of this episode. As a result, the two of them finished lunch very late. The sunlight in the afternoon was not so strong, with a little dimness. Lin Zhengren said goodbye to Yuan with Jiang Jingxi, and chatted as they left the cat cafe. "Jingxi, I'm going out tomorrow and won't be back for about 10 days. I'll call you to visit your uncle and aunt before I go back to Zithar City." Jiang Jingxi followed him reluctantly, not wanting him to leave, but she had no choice but to nod. "Okay, be careful on the way out, don't worry on the way there and back, safety first, call me if you need anything, and I'll handle it for you right away." "Okay, but it shouldn't be that exaggerated." Pan Lin, who was waiting outside the cat cafe, saw the two people coming out and hurriedly got off the bus to wait for the next stop. However, from Jiang Jingxi's face, she could see that their day-to-day was probably over. Lin Zhengren took out his mobile phone and looked at the time. It was 3:40 in the afternoon. It was time to find those three guys. You shouldn't go back to the company today, right? Go home and rest early. It's not suitable to work too hard when you are seriously ill." Zhang Jingshi's gentle eyes trembled, her fingers clenched slightly, and she answered softly, "I won't go to the company tonight. I have been with you for so long today that I don't feel like working when I go back." Her eyes were full of reluctance, and she looked like she didn't want to go back at all. She wanted to stay with Lin Songren for a while. The emotion was so strong that people could vaguely see the sadness after the beauty in her gentle eyes. Pan Lin noticed the thoughts in Zhang Jingshi's eyes from a distance, so she looked at the store manager who was also standing at the door of the cat cafe and waved her hand quietly, meaning don't stand there, just go back to the store. Seeing Pan Lin's reminder, the store manager nodded respectfully and returned to the cat cafe, closed the door, and went to do his own thing. Pan Lin also quietly returned to the car without disturbing the two. Only Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingshi were left at the door of the cat cafe. Zhang Jingshi approached Lin Zhengren, hugged him, put her face on his chest, and listened to the heartbeat of her beloved man. "I'll wait for you to come to me in 10 days and wait for your call." Lin Zhengren also hugged Zhang Jingshi tightly. "Well, take good care of yourself during this period. I hope you can be fully recovered in 10 days. Zhang Jingshi's breath trembled and she slowly closed her eyes. There were tears in the corners of her eyes. "I'm fine now." In the Rolls-Royce, Pan Lin, who was sitting in the passenger seat, saw the two people hugging each other through the window. She widened her eyes in surprise and opened her mouth. She wondered if President Zhang and President Lin were completely together. It seemed that this was the first time that the two of them were hugging each other so openly on the street. Finally, President Zhang finally got the person she wanted most. The driver also stared blankly. Even though he took President Zhang to run around every day, he had never seen such a gentle Zhang Jingshi. In Lin Zhengren's arms, Zhang Jingshi almost completely became an ordinary woman enjoying the embrace of her beloved man. Compared with the gentleness she occasionally showed to others on weekdays, her emotions at this moment were more natural. They hugged for about a few minutes. Lin Zhengren whispered, "I'm leaving." Zhang Jingshi felt that time was really short, and looked up at him. "I'll drive you." "No, it will take another 20 minutes to go back and forth. You can just go home. I'll take a taxi." Zhang Jingshi frowned slightly, stretched out her jade hand to touch Lin Zhengren's cheek. "Then see you in 10 days. Yeah." Lin Zhengren took the initiative to approach. Zhang Jingshi immediately opened her red lips and closed her eyes to greet him, and the two kissed for a while. Pan Lin and the driver didn't even dare to look, and turned to look at the road. Lin Zhengren hailed a taxi and looked at Zhang Jingshi standing behind him and Pan Lin, who got off the car. "Jingshi, I'm leaving." Zhang Jingshi slowly waved her hand. "Have a nice trip." The taxi disappeared into the distance on the road. Pan Lin and Zhang Jingshi looked at the taxi that was gradually disappearing, and the former looked at Zhang Jingshi's happy and sad expression. "Boss Zhang? Boss Lin will not come to the company for a while again." Zhang Jingshi stared at him. "He is always busy. He will leave every time I don't stay with him for long." 10 days, too long. Pan Lin smiled, "But he will come back eventually. After all, Boss Zhang and Boss Lin are already together." Hearing this, Zhang Jingshi became happy and looked at Pan Lin with a smile. "Don't talk nonsense about my relationship with him. It will cause trouble for him and the driver. Don't worry, drive home. Go home and have a good rest today. Go back to the company to start work tomorrow." Pan Lin opened the door for Zhang Jingshi. Zhang Jingshi looked at the end of the road again before getting in the car. Pan Lin closed the door and went to the passenger seat to sit down. Drive back to the villa. The driver stepped on the accelerator, and the Rolls-Royce drove away and disappeared into the city. In a hotel room, Zhang Zuli, who had twin ponytails, covered her eyes with a cloth strip and faced the wall. Han Wenwen and He Qing covered their mouths and hid in a corner of the room. "Zhang Zuli, have you two hidden well?" "I'll start looking." Han Wenwen and He Qing nodded. Zhang Zuli deliberately said, "Speak up. How can I start if you don't say anything?" He Qing said sweetly, "Okay." Han Wenwen was really impressed by Xiao Qingqing, and quickly beckoned her to change positions. Zhang Zuli also touched her immediately after hearing the voice. The three girls were having a great time. Until Han Wenwen accidentally glanced at the peephole and found someone walking over not far from the door. She smiled and opened the door immediately. Zhang Zuli, who was blindfolded, stopped and reminded when she heard the sound of the door opening, "Don't go out. This is a foul. How can we play if we go out?" Lin Zhengren entered the room and saw Zhang Zuli, who was blindfolded, and wondered, "What are you doing?" As soon as his voice appeared, Zhang Zuli quickly took off the cloth strip, and He Qing also hurried over with a smile. Everyone was very happy. He Qing grinned. "Lin's Hengren. You're here?" Zhang Zuli was also surprised and said, "Zhengren. Didn't you say you would come in the evening? Why are you here so early?" Han Wenwen laughed on the side. The three of them missed him a lot during this period. They all gathered in front of him. Lin's Hengren smiled. "It's 4 o'clock, which is also evening, but you three really don't grow up." Playing hide and seek at the age of 18, Zhang Zuli was extremely embarrassed. She hid the cloth strip behind her and stammered, "What's wrong with playing hide and seek? Who said that only children can play it?" He Qing smiled foolishly and said, "Girls are all like this." "Lin's Hengren, please sit down. I haven't seen you for several days. Are you done with your company's work?" "Yes, I'm done. I came to discuss the travel with you tomorrow." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244 Departure. The four of them went to the bed. Lin's Hengren sat cross-legged there. Zhang Zuli sat in a duck-like position with her golden twin ponytails on her legs. Xiao Heqing hugged her knees and looked obedient. Han Wenwen bent her legs and put her arms on her knees. The three of them stared at him intently. It was like a family meeting. Lin's Hengren, the head of the family, said, "I've been busy for a week because of some things, but fortunately it didn't affect the travel plan." "How are the three of you packing your luggage?" He Qing raised her hand and was the first to show her support. "I've packed everything and can leave at any time." Zhang Zuli also raised her hand. "I've also taken time to go home and pack these days, and the suitcase is ready." Han Wenwen raised her fox paw and smiled. "Me too." Lin's Hengren nodded. "Okay, although I haven't packed mine yet, I'll go back and do a little bit of it tonight, and we'll go on a trip by car tomorrow." Zhang Zuli was surprised. "We're leaving tomorrow." "So soon?" Little He Qing said worriedly. "Lin's Hengren, you just finished the company's work. Why don't you take a rest? Although traveling is fun, we have to climb mountains and so on this time, which may be very tiring." The little fox also thought so. Classmate Lin's Hengren, rest at home for one more day. There's no rush anyway, no need. You three underestimate me too much. Although I'm busy, it's not physical labor, and I've already rested at home for a day today, so it will be absolutely fine for me to sleep in at night. The three little girls saw that Lin's Hengren was in good condition, so they didn't say much. Lin's Hengren laughed. "It's you three. Climbing a mountain is a physical job. Be prepared." Little He Qing patted her chest. "No problem." Zhang Zuli was also very confident. "It's just a mountain. It's easy." Then it's settled. "At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will meet at the door of this hotel and take a car to go to the mountain to play." The three of them said in unison, "Okay," because they were leaving the next morning. The four of them separated at the hotel that night. They waved goodbye to each other. They went home to have a good rest for a night and welcome this week's travel life. This time, the trip was a trip on the surface, but the three little girls actually had their own ulterior motives. Han Wenwen wanted to explore the problem of improving skin, and wanted to try something with Lin's Hengren again to find out. Zhang Zuli was also reluctant to part with a kiss in the hotel last week. These days, she always dreamed of that scene and wanted to be intimate with Zhengren again, so she planned to take Zhengren's first time on this trip. Only Xiao Heqing's feelings towards Lin's Hengren were a little simple. She just wanted to spend more time with Lin's Hengren. However, there was a big thing that bothered her heart, that is, Wenwen, was she secretly in love with Lin's Hengren? She wanted to figure it out during this trip. After a night of rest, they each had their own thoughts. As the sun rose the next morning, Lin's Hengren stood at the window in a daze. Above the sky, dark clouds blocked the usually scorching sun, and the room was dim. There had been no heavy rain for more than a month, but it rained today. The continuous fine rain hit the window, as if to make it clear that this trip might be more complicated than expected. However, this did not affect the trip itself. Lin's Hengren pulled his suitcase out of the house. "Mom and Dad, He Qing, Lily, Wenwen and I are going on a trip. We'll probably be gone for more than a week." The couple saw their son off at the door. "Okay, the four of you be careful and call me when you get there." Lin Yingjin looked out the window at the overcast sky. "The weather is not very good today. Be sure to walk slowly on the way there. Lin's Hengren smiled. Don't worry, this little rain won't affect it. He remembered something. By the way, Mom, when are you going to the interview at that company? Lin's Xiaoli didn't think much about the reason why her son asked this question. Although I have experience before, I have to learn more about this area. I have to study at home for at least a week. I guess I have to wait until you come back before I can go. Lin's Hengren responded and left. He met the three little ones holding umbrellas at the door of the hotel. Even though the sun was not good today, He Qing, Han Wenwen, and Zhang Zuli, who all changed into new clothes, were still very delicate. Unbelievably beautiful. Zhang Zuli held an umbrella and asked in confusion, "It's raining today?" The weather forecast didn't say it would rain today. Little He Qing said, "The scenic spot will be open." Right. Han Wenwen took out her mobile phone to check the updated weather forecast. The weather forecast shows that the weather will not be very good in the next 3 days, and the sun will come out 3 days later. Lin's Hengren explained, "Don't worry, the place we are going to this time is not a big scenic spot. It is always open, but I originally planned to take a car with you, but since the weather is bad, I'm afraid it will be a lot of trouble to take a car. How about we just rent a car today? Let's rent an SUV and go on a self-driving tour, and I'll drive you." The three were surprised and said at the same time, "You drive us there." Zhang Zuli hurriedly refused. "Forget about renting a car, Zhengren, this is not good, right? After all, you don't have a driver's license. If you get caught, you're done for." Little He Qing, "Yeah, that's definitely not okay. It's a crime." Lin's Hengren took out his driver's license from his pocket. "Who said I don't have a driver's license? Isn't this? I brought it with me when I went out." The three were shocked when they saw the thing. Han Wenwen was particularly puzzled. After all, she had been secretly with Lin's Hengren for quite a while, but she didn't know about this. She took the driver's license and looked at it. Is it really a driver's license? When did Lin's Hengren take the test? How come I don't know? Zhang Zuli and He Qing also looked at the driver's license in confusion. Zhang Zuli asked, "Yes, when did you learn to drive?" "I remember that it was not very troublesome to learn. I heard from my classmates that it takes a long time to get the license, and there are appointments and practice." Lin's Hengren thought that he knew how to drive in his previous life, and this life, with the help of the system, it was easy. Lin's Hengren, "I signed up very early, and the driving school coach has been helping me to make an appointment at the test site. I went there when I made an appointment, and I passed it when I went there. After that, I passed it smoothly. It didn't take much time, so of course you don't know." Han Wenwen was curious. "So simple." Zhang Zuli looked at the other party, and reacted and let out a long breath. Think about it, it's true. After all, it's Zhengren, nothing can be difficult for him. Little He Qing suddenly became very excited because she drove herself. It made her feel like a family trip. Little He Qing, who had never been accompanied by her father since she was a child, longed for this feeling. She clenched her fists and her eyes lit up. "That means we can go by car. We don't have to worry about being in our own car. We can go wherever we want the car to go." Lin's Hengren smiled. "We can also see the rain. After all, it's a trip, and everything should be comfortable." Zhang Zuli was impressed that He Qing looked so happy. After making up their minds, the three of them took a taxi to the car rental point. Lin's Hengren rented a better SUV. Land Cruiser, with a larger space, enough for the three little girls to toss around in it. After putting all the suitcases on it, the four of them officially set out on their journey. Chapter 245. A family of four. The car shuttled through the city in the light train. He Qing, Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli all sighed that the interior space of SUVs was really large. It felt like you could lie down and use it as a bed. It was completely different from the small cars we usually drive. Originally, the three women were sitting in the back seat, but He Qing saw the empty seat of the co-pilot and suddenly asked while driving, "Lin's Hengren, how about I go to the co-pilot? I can help you see the road." Lin's Hengren continued to drive through the city. "You don't need to see the road, because you can't see the lines, right? But if you want to come and sit and play, you can." Little He Qing explained softly, "I can't see, but I can learn. I also want to learn to drive. Don't worry, I won't bother you. I will sit in the co-pilot and study by myself." Lin's Hengren did not refuse. "Then I'll find a place to park. You come over, okay?" The car found a place to stop temporarily on the side of the road. Little He Qing opened the back door and ran to the co-pilot, and said obediently, "Okay." The car started again. Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli looked at each other. Unexpectedly, I felt that today little He Qing seemed to be more active and excited than usual. After little He Qing sat on the front passenger seat, she fastened her seat belt and turned to stare at Lin Suhengren, who was driving. She really had a sense of deja vu, as if she was watching a family traveling on TV. Lin Suhengren was the father, she was the mother, and there were two little babies sitting in the back. Little He Qing's face suddenly showed some happiness. She sat in the front passenger seat with a warm smile. Lin Suhengren asked, "Do you want to learn to drive too?" Little He Qing immediately replied, "Yes. When I graduated, many classmates said that they should learn to drive when they entered college. Although I may not be able to drive many times after getting my driver's license, in case you have to socialize and drink in the future, I can occasionally drive to pick you up." Lin Suhengren glanced at the innocent little He Qing strangely. I wondered what the driver was for. "Really? That's really useful," she smiled. "Really?" Han Wenwen said from behind. "Then I will sign up for a driving school with Xiao Qingqing." Xiao He Qing turned around and replied, "Okay, Lily. Will you learn together after entering college?" Zhang Zuli blinked. "I don't really want to learn to drive. I always think that my driving sense is not very good. I'd better not drive and harm passers-by. Besides, even if it's for social occasions, there should be a driver in the future, right?" After she said that, He Qing and Han Wenwen were stunned. I don't know why a fox's desire to learn to drive suddenly decreased by half. Little He Qing was fine, she just came to her senses and said, "Yes. Suhengren is the big boss now, he will have a driver." Speaking of this, Han Wenwen asked curiously, "By the way, classmate Lin Suhengren, are you really the general manager of Xiangxi Company?" After Lily told us about this company last week, the three of us searched on the internet. This company is so big now, and we see that the registered capital is over 100 million. He Qing was also very curious. "Yes, Lin Suhengren, I also want to know if this is true. Are you so rich now?" Lin Suhengren glanced at the two of them in confusion. "Don't you two know?" Han Wenwen and He Qing shook their heads and said in unison. "I haven't heard of it at all." Lin Suhengren, "No, Lily should know. You three are together all day." "I thought she told you too." Zhang Zuli laughed in the back. "I also thought He Qing and Han Wenwen knew it, but I didn't expect them to be unaware of it at all." Lin Suhengren let out a long sigh. "It's okay, now you know anyway. I am indeed the general manager, but in the company I am a bit of a hands-off boss. Most of the time, it is Zhang Jingxi, Zhang Jin's sister, who handles various company affairs. She is the deputy general manager." When Zhang Jingxi was mentioned, the three of them were stunned for a moment. Although no one mentioned this matter in the past few days. But everyone knew that since Lin Suhengren had to deal with company matters for more than a week, he should have been alone with Zhang Jingxi. Han Wenwen narrowed her fox eyes slightly. Zhang Zuli also looked at Lin Suhengren vigilantly. Even though He Qing had not seen Zhang Jingxi much, she did not dare to take it lightly when she thought of how beautiful the sister was in Lin Suhengren's philandering character. The car got on the highway and drove for several hours. The rain did not reduce, but became heavier, but it had completely left the city. The three girls chatted about all sorts of things at the beginning, but after a few hours, they had fewer topics and gradually quieted down. Little Fox and Zhang Zuli found blankets in their school bags and covered themselves with them and fell asleep. Little He Qing yawned while eating snacks and reading about driving knowledge on her mobile phone, intending to take a rest. Looking back at Wenwen and Lily, he found that they were already asleep. The sleepy little He Qing stared at the two people sleeping soundly, and realized that if they were asleep, that meant only she and Lin Suhengren were still awake. The heavy rain outside the window made her energetic. Little He Qing kept staring at Lin Suhengren and lowered her voice, quietly asking Lin Suhengren, "Lin Suhengren? Are you tired after driving for so long? Why don't you find a place to rest?" Lin Suhengren was full of energy, different from ordinary people, not tired at all. "Just rest if you are sleepy. It will take several hours to get to the destination." Little He Qing saw Lin Suhengren holding the steering wheel with one hand and the other hand on the gear lever. At this time, she suddenly remembered some jokes on the internet, suddenly put her legs together and moved her buttocks. The whole legs leaned to the left. There was a slight blush on her face. Of course, Lin Suhengren noticed Xiao Heqing's actions and asked with a smile, "What are you doing?" Xiao Heqing shyly shook her head. "Nothing. I was watching videos online before and saw something about driving. Han Wenwen told me that when a boy is driving and shifting gears, if a girl likes him, she should put her legs on the left. That's what it means to be obedient." Lin Zhengren thought to himself that the fox had led this idiot astray countless times. Although it was raining, He Qing was wearing a skirt in the summer. Her snow-white legs leaning on the left were faintly visible under the hem of her skirt, which was very beautiful. Thinking that since this girl had done this, it would be bad if he did nothing, Lin Zhengren subconsciously put his hand on He Qing's leg without hesitation. Xiao Heqing quickly covered her mouth. She didn't expect Lin Zhengren to really touch her thigh. She was too shy to speak, for fear of waking up the two people behind her. Her innocent big eyes looked at him with watery eyes. Her body was tense. After touching her thigh for a long time, Lin Zhengren laughed at her reaction. "Did you bring any chewing gum or something?" Little He Qing nodded shyly. "Yes, it's in my school bag." "Do you want some?" She turned around and took her school bag from the back seat quietly. Slowly unzipped it. She took out a piece of chewing gum from it, opened it for Lin Zhengren, and fed it to his mouth. Lin Zhengren withdrew his hand. Little He Qing bit her lip. He said, "You can't feel it because the air conditioner is on in the car, but it may be a little cold when you get off the car later. Remember to put on a coat before going down. You probably won't be able to see the scenery today. Climb halfway up the mountain and find a hotel to stay." "Well, got it." She sat back down, looking at the rain falling on the front window and being wiped off by the wipers. She put her hands on her legs and smiled. "After we get married, can we occasionally hang out like this? It feels good, of course. When I buy a car, I can take you guys out to play anytime." Seeing that Lin Zhengren wanted to spit out the gum after chewing for a while, Xiao Heqing took the initiative to put her hand to his mouth. "Just spit it on my hand, I'll throw it away for you." Lin Zhengren was puzzled. "No paper?" "Yes, but just spit it on my hand. I've eaten a lot of snacks anyway, and I just want to wipe my hands." "Spit it out quickly. It's tasteless and you'll feel sick if you chew too much." Lin Zhengren looked at this stupid girl. Seeing him spit it out, Xiao Heqing happily took back her hand, poured the gum he spit out into the garbage bag, and wiped her palm with a wet wipe. After wiping, she continued to open a bag of potato chips and handed the first piece to Lin Zhengren's mouth. He started eating snacks again. Wiping it was the same as not wiping it. Thanks to the big boss 20240616165340260 inches for the reward of 1,300 starting coins. Bow to thank. Chapter 246, The Path Up the Mountain. After driving for a while, we finally reached the destination of this trip in the afternoon. Linshan. This place was jointly selected by the three children when they decided to go to the mountain to play. It was not for anything else, just because there was a word Lin in it. It sounded very Lin Zhengren. Although there were not many tourist attractions on the mountain, the people who wanted to relax didn't care about these. They parked the car in the parking area at the foot of the mountain. There were few cars in the parking lot. Even though it was a holiday, it was obvious that not many people came to play because of the rain. After waking up, the three children lay on the car window and looked at the dim steps up the mountain. The rain fell from the sky, and from time to time there were small lightning flashes between the clouds. The trees on the mountain rustled, but fortunately there was no wind. The playful and cute Zhang Zuli swallowed her saliva in the car and said blankly, "Is this Linshan? Why is it different from the promotional picture?" She took out the promotional picture of Linshan from the car. The picture showed bright sunshine, flowers and birds, and many pedestrians. In real life, the forest mountain looks like a completely barren mountain except for the narrow steps built by people. She even suspected that there were tigers and bears on the mountain. Zhang Zuli compared them a few times. "This is a completely different place, right? Why do I feel it's eerie?" If the three girls came alone, He Qing would also be scared. But with Lin Zhengren here, she was braver than usual. Maybe it's because of the rain? After all, the sky is gloomy, it should be fine in a few days. Han Wenwen, on the other hand, was extremely interested in the barren mountain. What an interesting place, it looks very mysterious. Her invisible foxtail shook, just like a fox spirit returning home. Lin Zhengren was embarrassed, and Zhang Zuli was also embarrassed, thinking that this guy was indeed the reincarnation of a fox spirit. Lin Zhengren reminded, "Okay, you all hold umbrellas, we definitely can't play today. Let's go to the hotel on the mountainside to stay. There are many collections in the hotel to view." Zhang Zuli flipped through the promotional pictures. "I remember, one of the few tourist attractions in this place is the collection hall of the hotel. It is said that there are many rare collections in it. but there is no promotional picture of what it is. You will know when you get there. I am also curious about what kind of collections this place can have. Linz Hengren opened the car door and took the lead to go down with an umbrella. The three little ones followed closely behind with their own umbrellas. Because the steps up the mountain could not be stood horizontally, the order of the four people going up the steps was Linz Hengren, He Qing, Zhang Zuli, and Han Wenwen. After all, Han Wenwen was not afraid at all, so she took the initiative to walk to the end. But even so, Zhang Zuli looked at the dark trees in the mountain with an umbrella, and shivered a few times because of the cold air when she stepped on the wet steps up the mountain. I thought to myself, isn't this place really strange? Han Wenwen couldn't help laughing when she saw Lily's reaction. Lily is scared, Zhang Zuli answered proudly. I'm not scared at all. I just haven't been to the mountains to play before, so I feel a little unfamiliar. What should I be afraid of with so many people here? She stuttered a little. Han Wenwen was puzzled. You have never been to the mountains to play. He Qing was also curious. Lily, have you never climbed a mountain? Zhang Zuli said as a matter of course. Yes, is there anything strange about this? There are no mountains in Zither City. I have never been to such a place since I was a child, and my parents have never taken me out for a trip. The little fox understood. That's really different. My and Xiao Qing's hometown in the south is full of mountains, and there are all kinds of activities in the mountains. Among them is an activity called the Liangxin Festival, which is particularly effective. Singles can find their true love by drawing lots in the mountains, and those who have a partner will have a better relationship. Girls are particularly interested in this kind of thing, including Zhang Zuli, who suddenly found it interesting. Really? There is such a place. If I have the chance, I would like to go to your Liangxin Festival to have a look. Han Wenwen smiled. Okay, it's really effective. When there is a chance, Xiao Qing and I will take you there. Little He Qing smiled and responded, well, I'll take you there to play when the time comes. But as soon as she finished speaking, He Qing saw Han Wenwen smile and suddenly realized something. That is, why did Wenwen say that the Liangxin Festival was very effective? When Wenwen was a child, she drew the Liangxin Festival fortune. I remember that it had a Lin character written on it. At that time, I joked that her true love might be Linz Hengren's brother or sister, but, now I think about it, that fortune wouldn't point to Linz Hengren. Does Wenwen think that Linz Hengren is her true love? Otherwise, if she didn't find her true love, how could she say that the Liangxin Festival was very effective? Well, the possibility is even greater. During the chat, Linz Hengren continued to lead the three people forward, but the interesting thing is that on the long way up the mountain, there were really no other pedestrians. There was only the sound of rain and the calls of animals such as frogs in the forest, and there was not even any light. Until I don't know how long I walked, Zhang Zuli saw that her shoes were a little wet because of the rain. I looked back unintentionally and found that Han Wenwen was gone. Ah, where's Han Wenwen? Linz Hengren and Zhang Zuli also looked over. He Qing, where's Wenwen? Zhang Zuli was puzzled. I don't know, she was just following me. She turned around again, and a human-shaped fox with a fox tail suddenly appeared. Patted her shoulder and said, I'm here. Zhang Zuli was so scared that she was like a cat with its fur standing on end. She quickly threw away her umbrella and hid in Linz Hengren's arms, trembling with tears in her eyes. Zhengren. Zhengren, Han Wenwen took off the cartoon fox mask and asked in confusion, it's me, why are you so scared? And this fox mask is so cute. Zhang Zuli heard the voice and looked back, and found that it was Han Wenwen holding an ordinary furry fox mask in her hand. She was about to breathe a sigh of relief, but she saw the pink tail behind Han Wenwen swaying. She became even more panicked. No. You are not Han Wenwen, you are the fox spirit on the mountain, and your fox tail is exposed. She continued to shrink in Linz Hengren's arms. Han Wenwen looked back at the fox tail behind her and took it off with her hands. Huh? This is also a toy, fake. But Zhang Zuli was already trembling in Linz Hengren's arms with fear, half turning her head. Fake. Linz Hengren knew that this guy was indeed coming to the mountains for the first time, so he hugged her and touched her head to comfort her. Don't be afraid, Lily, what are you afraid of when I'm here? And Wenwen didn't mean to scare you. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips and was held in Linz Hengren's arms. There were tears in her eyes, but she was still stubborn. I'm not afraid, I just haven't been to such a place. Okay, just hold me for a while. No, she said no, but she still didn't leave Linz Hengren's arms, and was slowly comforted by Linz Hengren. And Linz Hengren's coaxing also made Han Wenwen and Xiao Qing jealous. They also wanted to be hugged by Lin Sehengren. Little He Qing asked curiously, Wenwen, where did you get this mask and tail? I didn't see you take them just now, Han Wenwen said, oh, and pointed to the road next to her. I bought them at the entrance of the hotel over there. There are quite a lot of people there. He Qing, Han Wenwen, Lin Sehengren, and Zhang Zuli walked through the path, and everyone opened their eyes wide. Because there really is a big hotel on the mountainside. It was brightly lit and bustling, and there was a long row of snack streets outside the hotel. Many couples who were playing were holding umbrellas and talking and laughing while shopping. It was bright and safe. Everyone was stunned. He Qing was surprised and said, ah, so many people? But there was no one on the way we came. Lin Sehengren looked at the direction where other people were coming and going, and suddenly realized something. The road we are taking seems to be a small road behind the mountain. You see, the place where those people came is not the same direction as us. When Zhang Zuli saw so many people, all her fears disappeared, and there was only embarrassment on her face. He Qing, I thought so. This place is clearly advertised. Even if it's raining, there shouldn't be anyone here. It turns out that I took the wrong route up the mountain. After saying that, she said happily, but this place is so lively. Chapter 247 Hot Spring Hotel. Han Wenwen and He Qing looked at each other, then turned to look at Lin Sehengren. Lin Sehengren understood what the two guys meant, even though He Qing had been eating all the way in the co-pilot's seat. Let's go shopping together after the room is opened, the two responded. Only Zhang Zuli didn't speak. The three looked at Zhang Zuli again. Zhang Zuli blinked her embarrassed eyes and smiled and responded, okay, So Lin Sehengren took the three people through the bustling crowd to the most lively hot spring hotel in Linshan. This hotel is very large, with a total of 5 floors, and there is a huge hot spring pool behind the hotel. It is said that the hot spring has a long history and has a history of hundreds of years, so this hotel is called the 100-year-old Hot Spring Hotel. Lin Sehengren glanced at the sign and complained, the name is really direct. Entering the first floor, many people were checking in here. While queuing, Lin Sehengren asked the three little ones, do you want to have a room each or 3 people to open a room and I have a room? The three looked at each other. They said in unison, the second one. It was Lin Sehengren's turn. Before he could say anything, the clerk said, today's single room is sold out, and the king-size bedroom is also sold out. Lin Sehengren was speechless. What's left? There are 4 of us in total. The cheap rooms are all taken, and only the most expensive ones are left. For 4 people, there is a quadruple room with a bathtub and free 3 meals. However, the price is a bit expensive, and there are no discounts these days. Lin Sehengren replied, the price is fine. Can I go and take a look first? Of course, I'll have someone take you upstairs. Xiao Heqing asked hurriedly from behind, how much is it? The clerk called his companion to meet the guests and answered Xiao Heqing, 2,888 per night. Xiao Heqing was stunned. Is 2,888 a night a bit expensive? It's obviously very expensive. Han Wenwen calculated the bill and whispered, divide it by 4, it's equivalent to more than 700 per person. Lin Sehengren thought it was okay. After all, this is the price for staying in a hotel when traveling. Other staff members led Lin Sehengren and the others to the 5th floor. As the 3 of them followed Lin Sehengren, Xiao Heqing suddenly walked to the front and pulled his sleeve and whispered, Lin Sehengren, are you really going to live here? If we stay for a week, tens of thousands of yuan will be gone. How about finding a cheaper place? It costs a lot to rent a car, Lin Sehengren said casually. It's not much money, and didn't we agree to experience the hot springs in the mountains before the trip? The housekeeping Xiao Heqing pouted, although you said so much, I didn't expect to spend so much money on the trip. It's too extravagant. It's a bit unbearable. Seeing her distressed look, Lin Sehengren took out his mobile phone and casually found the WeChat balance and showed it to Xiao Heqing. He said, this is only a small part. Xiao Heqing took a curious look. Her innocent almond eyes opened wide because she saw a full 7-digit number. Ah, so much? Lin Sehengren, after all, I have been the general manager of Jiangxi Company for 2 years, and I don't spend much on weekdays. This amount of money is nothing to us. Xiao Heqing was so shocked that she swallowed her saliva. Mo Ming uttered a sentence in a daze. I suddenly feel that I am not worthy of you. Hearing Lin Sehengren's helplessness, he touched her head. What nonsense are you talking about? Little He Qing said without confidence. Because I may not be able to make so much money in my life, I feel guilty, as if I am harming you. Lin Sehengren really laughed out loud, looking at this stupid girl. After entering college, you should continue to participate in taekwondo competitions, right? One day in the future, maybe you, or you guys will become very famous, and then you may earn more than this. Little He Qing looked at Lin Suhengren obediently. He knew that Lin Suhengren's words were coaxing him, but he still said, then when I have money in the future, you can spend it as you like. Anyway, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is still yours. Lin Suhengren smiled. Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli, who were following behind, heard the two people whispering in front, and they didn't know what they were talking about. But it was obvious that they were sick and tired. When they arrived at the so-called 4-person room, the staff opened the door. This is the 4-person room. After the 4-person room entered, they found that the structure was very unique. It turned out to be a single room in a large room. The first thing that caught my eye was 3 single beds, placed separately, and then there was a door on one side. After opening it, the last single bed was inside. In other words, it looks like a 4-person room, but it can also be seen as a 3-person room plus a single room. Han Wenwen saw this layout and thought that it was designed specifically for them. This layout is quite interesting. Zhang Zuli also thought of something and nodded. It's very interesting. Lin Suhengren didn't expect that the so-called 4-person room would be like this. He said affirmatively, this is the room, I've booked it. The clerk nodded, thinking that these young people were really rich. Okay, then please come with me to the front desk to record your information. Lin Suhengren asked, by the way, our luggage is at the bottom of the mountain, and I don't think there's a place where we can drive up. Is there any way? The clerk replied, of course, we will give you a temporary pass later. You drive up from that road over there, and then drive the car back after putting down the luggage, because parking is not allowed on the mountain. The clerk pointed to a closed road guarded by a special person. That's it, thank you. After booking the room, Lin Suhengren went down the mountain and drove the car up. The 4 of them put their luggage in the hotel. Then they went shopping together. Following the crowd, talking and laughing in the snack street, holding snacks in their hands, looking here and there, shooting balloons and throwing rings. The 3 children focus on participating in many projects. After all, projects such as shooting balloons and throwing rings are very anti-human, but fortunately Lin Suhengren is even more anti-human. So whenever the 3 little ones couldn't get the prizes, Lin Suhengren would take action and take what they wanted as quickly as possible. He looted all the prizes that the boss couldn't give away. The 3 of them were so happy holding a lot of toys and dolls. The boss and some passers-by were surprised with their mouths open. They were not only shocked by Lin Suhengren's strength, but also more shocked by how this boy had 3 such beautiful girls around him. Han Wenwen, He Qing, and Zhang Zuli's looks were a beautiful sight wherever they went. In addition, they were all around Lin Suhengren, making passers-by jealous and envious. They forgot about time and played until more than 2 in the morning. At night, the 3 little ones and Lin Suhengren returned to the hotel with a full load and fell asleep. After sitting in the car all day and playing very tired, the 3 little ones were very honest. They slept until noon the next day. Lin Suhengren received the free lunch from the hotel and suddenly asked, I heard that there is a collection gallery in our hotel? What is the collection gallery? The staff replied, that is our director's personal collection gallery. You have to buy a separate ticket. Children are not allowed to see it. It contains models of many animal life. Lin Suhengren was rarely stunned. Zhang Zuli also woke up in bed at this time. After listening to the conversation between the two, she sat up from the bed with a red face. Models of penis organs. Chapter 248 Brothers Suhengren, come quickly. Han Wenwen and He Qing, who were on the other 2 beds, also sat up in their pajamas. With sleepy eyes, little He Qing looked at Lin Suhengren and the front desk staff standing at the door. Pulling the quilt with her hands, she asked blankly, what are you talking about? The front desk staff smiled and repeated, I said that there is a personal collection of the curator on the first floor of our hotel. It is a life model of many animals. If you want to see it, you can buy a ticket and go to the first floor to watch it. Han Wenwen's fox eyes suddenly froze. Little He Qing's face also flushed. She even thought she had just heard it wrong. How could those 3 words be said so directly and decisively? Life was repeated, and the voice was even more stupid. The front desk staff smiled. Yes, it is a life model. Lin Suhengren took the lunch and the staff left. During the meal, Lin Suhengren looked at the different expressions of the 3 people. Lily and He Qing were so embarrassed, only the little fox looked normal. Let's go and take a look after we finish eating. The 3 girls nodded while eating lunch. After changing clothes, They went to the hotel collection hall in the lobby on the first floor. The ticket price was surprisingly not expensive, 40 yuan per person, which was not bad. The collection hall was much larger than they had imagined, about a room of 120 square meters. There were all kinds of cabinets and bookshelves inside, filled with all kinds of bottles and clay models. There were probably hundreds of them. The models were definitely fake, but the things in the jars were very real. According to the staff, they were all made from real objects. There was even a size sorting. For example, the cat's was only 1 centimeter. It also had thorns. The gorilla's was 4 centimeters. There were also slugs, dogs, cows, horses, and the largest one was an elephant, 1 meter long. Lin Zhengren looked at it purely from a scholar's perspective, and it was quite interesting. But the 3 little ones were different. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips and blushed the whole time, and even Han Wenwen, who is usually relatively calm, had a blush on her face. She actually thought it didn't matter, it was just a small animal, but after entering, she suddenly remembered what happened last week, and remembered Lin Zhengren. The most interesting thing was little He Qing, who had been keeping her head down since entering, and blushed when Han Wenwen held her hand. This is too much. If there was no one to lead us, we would probably bump into things and not be able to fully explore. After watching for a while, the 3 of them left. Looking at the rain outside the hot spring hotel, it was even heavier than yesterday, and the rain was pouring. Even the snack street that was full of people yesterday had been completely removed and was empty. Zhang Zuli walked to the door of the hotel and looked at the rain all over the mountains. She felt that it was quite shocking compared to the city. The rain beat on the endless trees, and the smell of soil was strong. It's raining so hard, it seems that we can't go out to play today, Lin Zhengren said. Go back to the room, rest in the room today, and talk about it tomorrow, the 3 of them responded in unison. On the way back to the room, no one spoke, because they were embarrassed by the so-called statues. After all, it might be better if the girls came alone. But they always felt shy to look at those works of art with Lin Zhengren. However, Han Wenwen looked at Lin Zhengren's back and bit her lips inexplicably. After returning to the room, Lin Zhengren stood by the window and looked at the rain. He Qing and Zhang Zuli lined up to go to the bathroom, while Han Wenwen sat on her bed and looked at Lin Zhengren standing by the window. Suddenly, her fingers clenched and she let out a long breath. Then she covered her stomach and turned to He Qing and Zhang Zuli and said, Zio Qing, Lily, I have a stomachache. I'm going to the bathroom outside. Zio He Qing had already come out of the bathroom and was puzzled. Diarrhea? Is it because of what I ate yesterday? Han Wenwen shook her head and laughed. I don't know, but it's a bit embarrassing to go to the bathroom in the room. I'm going to the public bathroom outside, Zio He Qing responded. Then go quickly. Han Wenwen quickly left the room with a pack of unopened tissues. Blushing through the long corridor, the little fox walked into the public bathroom. Because all the rooms in this hot spring hotel are in independent bathrooms, no one comes to the public bathroom. It's very quiet and clean. Han Wenwen entered the private room, locked the door and sat on the toilet. But she didn't go to the bathroom, but sat there with her hands covering her face in a daze. Her face, which was originally just slightly red, was slowly covered with blushes, even more red than Zhao Heqing when she was visiting the collection hall. Her cheeks were hot. What am I thinking about? Why is my mind full of? She felt that the things in the collection hall were very normal, and she only felt a little shy when she was browsing. The blushing was because she thought of Lin Zhengren. But when she returned to the room from the collection hall, Han Wenwen looked at Lin Zhengren's back. She looked at Lin Zhengren standing by the window and looking at the rain in the mountains. The scene of her kneeling to help Lin Zhengren in the hotel last week appeared so clearly in front of her. Her heart was beating very fast, and this kind of fastness was not caused by excitement or fear. It was a kind of itchy feeling in her heart. At this moment, Han Wenwen bit her lip and tried to adjust her breathing tentatively. But she couldn't calm down. Instead of becoming steady, her breathing became heavier. Her breath carried the unique fragrance of the little fox. Her chest rose and fell, and her pupils seemed to have their own crystal water light. She knew that it was impossible for her to calm down. Brother Zhengren, Han Wenwen's head slowly leaned against the wall of the private room, closed her eyes, and slowly stroked her thighs with her hands. Novels or TV dramas say that all girls will change because of the first time in their lives. Han Wenwen is really sure this time. Because of the wonderful experience last time, she always wants to do it again these days. Even if she forgets it occasionally, a small scene can easily arouse her thoughts and want to truly possess Lin Hengren. Brothers Hengren. When one wants you, Lin Hengren in the hotel room received a message more than 10 minutes later. It was sent by Han Wenwen, with only 5 words, "Come to me, hurry up." Lin Hengren was puzzled at first when he saw these 5 words. But then she sent another sentence, "Brothers Hengren, hurry up, please come over." Lin Hengren realized something and wondered what she was doing. He said to He Qing and Zhang Zuli, who were already sitting on the bed, "You stay here, I'm going out for a while." Zhang Zuli was curious, "What's wrong, Hengren? It's raining heavily outside, where are you going?" Lin Hengren casually said, "Go to the first floor and ask if there are any fun places on the mountain, otherwise it would be a waste of time to look for them tomorrow." Zhang Zuli responded without thinking much. Little He Qing didn't think much about it either. She was still shy and embarrassed about the collections just now, wondering how there are such things in the world. She looked at Han Wenwen's empty bed, thinking that even Wenwen, who is usually sexy, should have been embarrassed just now, right? She took out her mobile phone, looked at the time and suddenly thought of something. Wenwen has been gone for a while. "Lily, is your stomach feeling good today?" Zhang Zuli leaned against the head of the bed and played with her mobile phone. "I'm fine, but it rained yesterday and I ate, so it's normal to have diarrhea." He Qing blinked her pure almond eyes. "That's true, but Wenwen's stomach is usually good." Chapter 249 Fox. The little fox leaned against the partition of the toilet room, and her eyes were blurred after sending a message to Lin Hengren. Girls and boys have different physiological structures. Boys may wake up quickly after calming down alone, but the little fox will only be more eager. Lin Hengren called Han Wenwen after he walked out of the hotel room. Han Wenwen quickly answered the call, and her voice was different from before. Lin Hengren asked her where she was. Han Wenwen's voice was charming and moving. "Public toilet, Brothers Hengren, come quickly." After hearing this, Lin Hengren went to the toilet. Just when he wanted to ask the specific location again, Han Wenwen, who had just left the room, pulled him into the girls' toilet. Pulled into the room and locked the door. Lin Hengren wondered what happened to this fox. As a result, he saw Han Wenwen's cheeks flushed and her breathing was long and soft. He knew what she had just done in the toilet, and was slightly surprised. Lin Hengren stared at Han Wenwen's face and touched her cheek with his hand. The little fox obediently held Lin Hengren's hand and rubbed his cheek against his palm. "Brothers Hengren," Lin Hengren was curious, "why are you like this all of a sudden?" Han Wenwen stared at Lin Hengren, but didn't answer. Instead, she took the initiative to move her lips closer. She kissed Lin Hengren. Lin Hengren also hugged the little fox's waist. After kissing for a while, Han Wenwen stared at him closely and whispered coquettishly, "It's all because of Brothers Hengren taking us to that kind of collection museum. It made me think of what happened last week." Her hand slowly reached into Lin Hengren's clothes. This time, Lin Hengren held her hand. "There is not enough time today. He Qing and Lily are still in the room. If we mess around for a few hours, they will be worried if they can't find us." The little fox looked disappointed when she heard this, and even had tears in her eyes. She was so aggrieved by such a thing. Lin Hengren didn't expect her to be like this, and smiled. "What's wrong? Is it that serious?" The little fox blushed and said aggrievedly, "Why not? This kind of thing should not start. I started thinking about it every day. When one likes Brothers Hengren so much, and when one only has you in her heart. And every day I can't eat you. Is Brothers Hengren not greedy for my body? Is it because Wenwen didn't serve Brothers Hengren well last time?" Lin Hengren thought to himself that he hadn't done anything yet, but just let Wenwen taste a little sweetness that day, and she was so addicted. She really has the charm of a fox spirit in her bones, and I'm afraid her appetite will be big in the future. How could that be? I'm busy recently, otherwise I would have accompanied you 3 last week. What should we do now? I feel a little uncomfortable now. I feel itchy inside. Han Wenwen looked at Lin Hengren's hand, and suddenly held his hand and rubbed her face against it. "How about Brothers Hengren, help me, I will serve Brothers Hengren in the second half of the night." "Okay." Lin Hengren smiled, closed the toilet lid, and sat on it. "Come and sit on my lap." Han Wenwen bit her lip and immediately threw herself into Lin Hengren's arms, sat on his lap, and put her arms around Lin Hengren's neck. She kissed him again. Han Wenwen closed her eyes and her face became even more flushed after she felt something on her thigh. She bit Lin Hengren's ear. "Brothers Hengren, how come you are so good at it? People are born with the ability to do this kind of thing. Didn't you do it the same last week? You learned it very quickly, Han Wenwen whispered in his ear. Thank you for your hard work, Brother Zhengren. Wenwen will definitely serve Brother Zhengren well tonight, or Brother Zhengren can just take Wenwen in tonight. After that, she stared at Lin Zhengren. But you really don't let Wenwen touch you now? I feel that Brother Zhengren has some ideas as well. Lin Zhengren put his other hand around her waist. How can I not have some ideas with you like this? But I don't like to be in a hurry. Being disturbed by other things in the middle will only make me uncomfortable. Han Wenwen buried her face in Lin Zhengren's neck and bit his neck. Then in the second half of tonight, Wenwen will definitely let Brother Zhengren enjoy it. She closed her eyes again. Brother Zhengren is Wenwen's master, and Wenwen really can't live without you. In the hotel room, He Qing played with her mobile phone for a while. It was more than half an hour since Han Wenwen went out. She was a little worried. Wenwen hasn't come back yet? I think I have to go and see her. If it's serious, we have to go to the hospital. We can't lean on her like this. It's been a while. Zhang Zuli also looked at the time and said, I'll go over and see too. Little He Qing got out of bed and put on her shoes. No, I'll go by myself. Let's see what's going on first. After all, it's not good for her stomach ache to go away. If there's a problem, I'll call you. Okay, call me anytime if there's anything. Got it. Little He Qing took her phone and left the room to go to the public bathroom. After she left, Zhang Zuli leaned against the head of the bed and thought that Zhengren hadn't come back yet, so why did he take so long to ask things on the first floor? Little He Qing walked out of the hotel room and walked towards the public bathroom. In the bathroom private room, Han Wenwen bit Lin Zhengren's neck hard, frowning slightly. Brother Zhengren, just a little bit more. Little He Qing had already walked to the ladies' bathroom and asked, Wenwen? Wenwen, are you there? No one spoke. It was very quiet, but Han Wenwen and Lin Zhengren both heard Little He Qing's voice at this moment. Xiao He Qing wondered why she wasn't there. So she took out her cell phone and called her. Suddenly, Han Wenwen's cell phone rang in the private room. But the little fox had no time to answer it. As the cell phone rang, she tightly grasped Lin Zhengren's clothes with both hands. She shuddered. Xiao He Qing, who was outside, heard the phone ringing inside and walked back in puzzled. Wenwen? Are you in there? Why don't you talk? Are you okay? She walked over following the sound of the cell phone. Just when they were about to reach the door of the private room, Han Wenwen finally spoke from inside. Xiao Qing. Why are you here? I was in the bathroom. Xiao He Qing stopped. Not well yet? Is it serious? If it's serious, do you want to go to the hospital? Han Wenwen's tone was a little weak, and she forced a smile. It's okay, it's not that serious. At most, I will take some medicine later and it will be fine. Xiao He Qing responded. If it doesn't work, let's go to the hospital. It's okay, don't worry, I would go if it was very serious. Okay, but your stomach is usually fine. By the way, why didn't you answer me when I called you just now? I thought you were not on the bathroom. At this moment, Han Wenwen was looking at her beloved man inside, and whispered, I was just thinking about it, so I didn't speak. Xiao He Qing smiled awkwardly when she heard this word. So that's the case. I'll go back first. Well, don't worry. Little He Qing turned and left, saying casually, why hasn't Lin Zhengren come back yet? What is he doing on the first floor? Han Wenwen in the private room had her eyes full of Lin Zhengren, and she slowly kissed his lips. Thank you, master, for rewarding me. Lin Zhengren smiled and said, I should go. He Qing is going to find me. The little fox was jealous and leaned in his arms. You're so frivolous. Wait for me tonight. Chapter 250 Hot Spring. Lin Zhengren got up and left. Han Wenwen was reluctant to watch him go. She sat exhausted on the toilet alone. After a moment of silence, she took out the unopened tissues she brought from the hotel from her pocket, and gently tore the seal on the tissue package with her slender fingers. Biting her lip, she carefully wiped the water stains on the ground with toilet paper. After wiping once, she still felt it was not clean enough, so she wiped it again, and then wrapped the original tissue with other toilet paper. Then she threw it into the wastebasket in the bathroom. She opened the toilet lid and let out a long breath. She looked at the ground with a charming look and said lightly, it's still not enough. I need to get Brother Zhengren completely. Brother Zhengren is mine and Wenwen's. After leaving the bathroom, Xiao He Qing returned to the hotel room, half opened the door and poked her cute head in, looking at Zhang Zuli, who was curled up on the bed playing with her mobile phone. Lily, Lin's Hengren hasn't come back yet, Zhang Zuli replied. No, how is Han Wenwen? Is her stomach hurting badly? Little He Qing opened the door and answered. She said nothing happened. She said to take 2 pills first and see if that works before going to the hospital. I'll go to the first floor to look for Lin's Hengren. Why hasn't he come back yet? When Zhang Zuli heard that He Qing was going to look for Lin's Hengren, she subconsciously stood up because she was also curious about what that idiot was doing. Wait a minute, I'll go too. But as soon as she stood up, her cell phone rang. Zhang Zuli saw that it was Wang Lan from Zhangxi Music who called. She picked up the phone in confusion. Hello, Sister Zhang, Wang Lan said on the phone. Hello, Lily? Do you have time now? There is something in the company that needs you to fill out. I have sent it to you, Zhang Zuli responded. I am not busy, but what is it? Didn't you win the Little New Star Award and get the qualification for the Magic City Music Candidate program? They contacted me recently and said that you can participate in the competition this year after filling out this form. Zhang Zuli was very surprised to hear this. Really? I can participate in the Music Candidate competition. Music Candidate is the largest music competition venue in the country. Many singers became famous here and then rose to prominence. Although Zhang Zuli is now well known in the music industry, she is not yet a household name. And this competition is a great opportunity for her to completely stand out. Okay, I'll fill it out right away. Little He Qing at the door saw Zhang Zuli's excitement and asked in a low voice, what's the matter? Zhang Zuli hung up the phone and jumped up from the bed happily, with her golden ponytails flying. He Qing, I can participate in the Music Candidate. I have to fill out the form quickly and then tells Hengren the good news. He Qing has also watched the program Music Candidate and knows how popular it is in China. She is also happy for her. Really? Then you will be famous. Zhang Zuli touched the back of her head with one hand embarrassedly and laughed. It's not even a contest yet. It's not certain whether you will become famous. Little He Qing encouraged. You will definitely become famous, especially if Lin's Hengren teaches you again. Congratulations. Then will you come with me to the first floor to find Lin's Hengren? Zhang Zuli looked at the form sent on the phone. I have to fill out the registration form first. He Qing, you go first. I'll go after I finish filing it out. Little He Qing saw her excited duck sitting on the bed and fiddling with her phone. She was really happy for her. So he closed the door quietly without disturbing her, and went to the first floor to find Lin's Hengren. He said to himself, Music Candidate? That's really great news, but I have to work hard to participate in the competition to make money. I can't just spend Lin's Hengren's money, I have to let him spend mine. I'll start practicing when I go to college. Zhao Heqing walked to the lobby on the first floor and saw Lin's Hengren sitting on the sofa in the lobby on the first floor, flipping through a magazine that looked like a shopping guide. It seemed that he had been sitting here for a long time, but in fact he just came. After seeing him, Zhao Heqing ran a few steps with a smile on his face. Lin's Hengren looked up at Zhao Heqing. Why are you here? Zhao Heqing walked to his side and stopped. I saw you came out for a while and didn't go back. What are you doing? Seeing tourist attractions. There are so many tourist attractions on this mountain. It takes so long to see. I remember that Linchin is not a very famous place. Lin's Hengren asked Zhao Heqing to sit down. Zhao Heqing glanced at the front desk in the distance and sat next to him obediently. Lin's Hengren pointed to the first place in the book, which was the place he just found. It seems like we came here at the right time. It is said that we can see a beautiful meteor shower at the top of the mountain in a few days. Many people come here just for the meteors. Little He Qing took the book and looked at the promotional picture of the sky full of meteors. Very surprised. Really? It's so beautiful, and in 3 days, won't it be a good opportunity for us to go and see it? Lin's Hengren nodded and continued, and I just asked the front desk where the better picnic spot is here, and the front desk also told me that when the rain stops in the next 2 days, we can find a place to have a barbecue or something. Okay, she happily flipped through the travel guide, and reacted after seeing the indoor hot spring. She asked Lin's Hengren in a low voice, by the way, where's the hot spring in our hotel? When are we going to take a bath? I didn't ask that. He turned around and asked the clerk in the distance directly, Sister, may I ask, where's the hot spring in our hotel? The front desk replied, hot springs are the feature of our hotel. It's in the backyard. There are 2 types. One is a public hot spring separated by men and women. The price is cheaper, but there are many people. The other is a private hot spring. It's very quiet and no one disturbs us. When little He Qing heard the word private hot spring, her face suddenly turned slightly red. Lin's Hengren barely hesitated. How many people can soak in the private hot spring? The receptionist said. 5 or 6 people are fine, but the price is much higher. If there are 2 people, I remember they stayed in a 4-person room. Girls still have a clear memory of handsome guys, especially Lin's Hengren's face, which is easy to remember. Not to mention that there are 3 very beautiful girls around him. I recommend that if you don't care about the price, a private one will be better and more relaxing, Lin's Hengren decided. Then private, Zio He beside him blushed and glanced at Lin's Hengren, without saying anything. The receptionist looked at the computer. Okay, today's appointment is full. I will make an appointment for you tomorrow night. Please pay here. Lin's Hengren stood up and went to pay. Zio He thought to herself that a private hot spring. Then men and women will definitely not be separated. So the rain in the mountains has begun to subside, becoming only sporadic. Lin's Hengren and Zio He did not continue to sit on the sofa, because they found a better place to watch the rain. It was by a small French window far from the entrance of the hotel. There were a few steps to sit on, and there was also a vending machine next to it. It was just that because the price was expensive and the front desk also sold water, no one came here. This place was discovered by little He Qing. When Lin's Hengren was paying, she saw a machine here and came here out of curiosity. As a result, she accidentally discovered that from here you can better see the spectacular scenery of the undeveloped forests after being wet by the rain. You can also see many mountains in the distance. So she called Lin's Hengren to come and see together. When Lin's Hengren came, he was also surprised. The two stood by the French window and looked into the distance together. Little He Qing leaned on the window and said softly and cutely, "It's so beautiful." Coincidentally, a small roll of white stockings suddenly fell out of her shirt pocket. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.